Hello,
Hello.
ladies and gents, and everyone in between, outside of, and everything else. How are we all doing? People have been getting involved in the comments early doors. Let's have a
Oh,
look at the
really?
first one. Well, the first comment was Viv Visions at just before 7 p.m., which my laptop hadn't even been switched on at that point. So, shout out to Ken.
Should I just start swearing early and get demonetized?
I'm not monetized anyway, to be fair, so it doesn't really matter.
You don't care.
Yeah, there's no point at the minute because it's not affecting any money, but we're getting there, hopefully. Fee, early gang, what's going on, Fee? Thank you for joining. Gary, what's going on, big man? Who else we got? Fee is pretending to work. Excellent, I do that a lot. Dan, what's going on, geez? Sup, boys, and Fee. Lovely job. Who else we got? Jay is here. Get ready for some commentary from Jay because he loves getting involved in.
Nice.
Yeah,
How many's in the chat then? How
at
many's
the
how many's on the
minute
live
we've
right now?
got 14 watching, so that's cool. Rick, what's going on, Rick?
Nice.
Chief Sweet Universe, what's going on? I've not seen you before. Nice to see you.
Who's that
Big
guy?
big man, Paul's Monitors. He's joined. He has joined. Jay Ridley, your hair. What hair? Look how shiny that skull is. Look at that. There's a lot brighter in here now, isn't it?
It's like beeswax, isn't it?
Yeah, I polish it now as opposed to brush it. So.
Polish it every night.
Spit shine. Ashley, hi Ashley, nice to have you. Gary, hey Riddler, turn the saturation down. I can't see your face. That didn't take long, did it? Tori, what's going on? Nice seeing you, Tori. Thanks for joining. Gary's been binging your podcasts lately.
Nice.
Repti chat, what's going on, Ben? And I can't be asked to listen to you peasants, so won't be here long. So he gets like nearly 40k followers and he thinks he's like the boss now. Do you know what I mean? He thinks he's the captain round here.
40k followers on what?
Instagram.
Oh, right. You mean the site that doesn't pay?
That's the one, yeah. So Liam, how are you, mate? You all right?
I'm doing all right, mate. Bit hot on here, but otherwise doing all right. Yeah, been absolutely grinding YouTube videos lately, so doing all right.
Excellent. It's all going all right. All spot on where you want it to be, or
yeah, it's going better than I thought I wanted to be at the moment. So quite happy.
Excellent. Oh, look, there you go. It's because I am. If I only care about money, I wouldn't be doing this. Oh, Paul. Excellent. So we're here, obviously, Q&A. We've been having some people send in some questions for us. Some of them a bit more serious than others. For example, the latest one that we got, and I don't know who sent this one. It said, "Why is Liam so good looking?"
That was probably Ashley.
It actually came from an account called Reptiles and Research.
Oh, who's that?
No, we've got some good questions. Obviously, I've been building this up for a little while now, to be fair. Mainly because we didn't have a date until like a week ago, but we knew we were doing it. So let's start with, actually, to be fair, quite a big one. So opinions on how the future of reptile keeping is going. So I'll let you take us away on that one. What's your opinions on where reptile keeping is going?
In which country?
I guess where we are now. I guess sort of UK, maybe US.
I think probably the idea of keeping less is more and giving them like more complex and larger habitats. I think giants are on their way out. I think that people are going to be spending more. I think more people are going to be joining the industry. I mean, like it's growing at a massive rate. I don't think we're going to lose reptiles anytime soon. I think at the most, or the wild caught might stop, or some silly things you won't be able to keep. But for the most part, reptiles aren't going anywhere. I mean, the government doesn't really give a monkeys as long as it's profitable. I don't care about welfare. So I think it's just kind of more or less the same. It's just how we craft it, really.
Mm-hmm. I think it's I've started seeing. I've not been in the reptile hobby massively long, but in the few years that I have been, I have started seeing more people encouraging the bigger enclosures, the better setups, as opposed to just hoarding more animals, which is quite good to see. I don't know if that's just because I'm changing sort of the communities that I'm a part of, or whether it is something that I'm seeing more. But it is becoming becoming a lot easier to see that people are going for bigger and better as opposed to more animals.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both really, because if you only like go venture out to certain circles, you're only going to kind of see that sort
Yeah.
of thing if that's what you expose yourself to. If you're in like any group, no matter what it's like, you'll see a wide array. And if you work in shops, you'll see God knows what.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we've had an answer from Jay already. I believe reptile keeping is going the same way as Riddler's dancing. Up, baby. I'll take that. Cheers, Jay. You've started off early. Dan has asked, what do you class as a giant?
Retics, sperms, anacondas, afrox, that sort of thing.
What about monitor wise? Do you reckon like Asian water monitors, things like that?
I mean, the snakes are the one that get the most sort of like attention. But
yeah,
I think it should be like licensing. But then again, if you do licensing, no one's gonna adhere to it anyway. So my general attitude to it lately is what's going to happen is what's going to happen, really.
Yeah, fair enough. Most important question for Liam: is Ellie excited to come on my podcast on Saturday?
I mean, I assume so, even though she was coming on Saturday. So I haven't been told, so I assume so.
How do you have to say, the Riddler, the lack of hair does suit you very well. Thank you. I appreciate
it's just all
that.
below the shirt.
Yeah. Oh, mate, literally. It's quite a similar divide between bigger and better versus more animals. Have you met most royal keepers?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Ben, until quite recently, we were part of that, which is good because we can speak from experience. I mean, I've still got the rack, as we all know. It's taken 8 minutes for me to mention my rack, but I do blame Ben for that, to be fair. But it's good because, like I say, if just even two of us in here have already been reached about lowering the amount of animals and upping the care, who's to say how many more have been reached outside of here?
I think that's the only way you can stay sane, is that you can only put out the information that you want to put out and be of service to the reptiles that exist by putting information out for someone to use for them. And if someone doesn't use it, they don't use it. If they do, they do. But at least you're putting it out. You're playing your part to help animals. And that's otherwise you're just gonna spiral and get stressed.
Yeah. And reach from someone who doesn't keep snakes. You've kept some snakes in the past, to be fair, but they don't seem to be your thing, Paul, by the sounds of things, which is fine. It is what it is. Like, I'm very much into the snakes. I think they're cool. I used to be a rack man. Used to be. That's good. I was at that point of more animals, but since joining this community, I've seen that it is way better for the animals to keep bigger and less animals, and way easier in general to keep less animals. Well, yeah, I mean, again, just for example, when I did have 14 snakes in one small area, all right, it's a small area, but you've still got to top up and clean 14 water bowls. You've still got to poo pick 14 enclosures or boxes. You've still got to take the shed out. You've still got to feed. So it does make a difference, because like feeding night now, it takes me 5 minutes as opposed to half an hour. So
I've never understood the whole thing of like everyone saying, "Oh, racks are easier to clean." Like, I've worked with like hundreds and hundreds of like, well, the whole thing's a rack. What do you call it, like a tray? Like, you say both as a rack, don't you? So what's the actual individual term for like one singular
box, tub, whatever?
Just like the amount of time it takes you to clean those things, and then your rates are stuck to the wall, and you got to scrape it off, and then you've actually got to deal with the snake that's like fuck you and trying to bite you, if it's like a stressed one from like if you don't have control of the animals, like how it's treated and stuff as well. Like, it's just so much stressful for the animal as well as just like paying the ass for you to deal with as well. So just being able to lean into an enclosure and like you move a bit of glass and not move their entire world, and like the water ball sloshing about when you like, I just don't get how it's easier. But
Yeah. I mean, Ben, I've sold 2 out of 3 racks now. Honestly, so excited to go from 38 plus snakes to 6 Vivs with a hand-picked selection of animals. Mate, same. I mean, I've got 2 of them in Vivs, and it's so much more rewarding. Every single night that I have to come down and do something, I'll check the Viv, the new one that's in here, and he is always, without a doubt, or without fail, sorry, up on top of his logs, up nearer the top of the
must be broken.
warm, yeah, it must be. And it's just really nice to see. But then the bad side of it is there's sometimes, like later on tonight, depending on how long we go on for here, if the lights go out, which they will do soon, I see some little snake heads, some little faces in the tubs looking out, and I just feel like a piece of shit when I see that. But I know it's coming. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know that they're going to get upgraded, but it does get me down a little bit. I think if you keep bigger animals, then you should have to be prepared for the end game, like in terms of habitats and space. Otherwise, don't bother. Yeah, for sure.
I think the other way that it's going to go is that it's going to move towards smaller animals. Like, there might be people that have still have big collections, but what they're keeping is tiny things, but in a reasonably sized enclosure. Yeah. So let's say you have I don't know, Phelsuma, the little ones rather than the big ones, in a 3x2x3 or something. But then just have a room full of. I think it's going to go towards that, and then I think bigger stuff is going to kind of fizzle out.
Yeah. Yes, Paul, snake's not your thing. However, Paul still needs garters. I need garters. They're on the list for me, for sure. They're definitely on the list. But obviously, I'm going to sort out who I've got first. Paul wants his monitor lizards with legs, please. Yeah. I should have read this one before putting it on the screen. But yes,
disgusting.
Gary, thank you.
I'm really offended.
No snakes for Paul. I'm not getting snakes. We back to monitors. Yeah,
I think he's not getting snakes.
Yeah, no, he's had. I think he's shared it happily on his own page, but he's had a bit of an epiphany recently. Sort of strayed slightly away from monitors, just to almost test the waters, I guess. Which in turn made him realise he is Paul's monitors. He is monitor man. So that's cool. Royals don't climb. You're making it up. I mean, yeah. In order to get these pictures and videos, I'm shoving him and twisting him round the logs and saying, "Stay there for a second while I get a video." But
you super glue?
yeah, all that. Well, they shed it off anyway, don't they? So
it's just fine, isn't it?
Yeah. Jay, I prefer vivarium over racks or tubs. In the snakes, monitors, so forth, interact with their environment is amazing, especially at night when the snakes wake up and wiggle about. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. It's something I'm already experiencing, and it just makes it so much more rewarding. There we go. Paul's geckos is still a go, though, by the looks of things. Stenos, I'm getting more. Right, this one here, I'm telling you, morning geckos are the one. My only concern with morning geckos is that they breed quicker and more than rabbits. So you can have 3 of them in an enclosure this big, and all of a sudden you've got 58 of them in there.
Yeah, cool.
That's my only concern. I own an Asian water monitor. It's my pride and joy, but I do agree that bigger animals will fizzle out. The thing is, I think with exposure to social media as well, some people don't give a shit. Some people will get not bullied, but harassed maybe a little bit and say, you can't keep the animal well, you can't keep it, blah, blah, blah. And maybe some of them will end up moving them on. Some of them don't care and they won't. But I think that's got potentially something to do with it. Riddler talking about Paul on his live standard practice. Michael, I'm talking about everyone, not just Paul. All right. Anecdotal, but my rescue Birmingham is in a 17x3x3. Good. She's 15 feet, and once she's energized, she whizzes up and down that Viv. Even though the Viv is arguably large enough, she still needs more room.
I've been there. I've seen it. It is massive Viv.
Yeah, it was 17 feet. All of a sudden, you have tiny lesbian gecko army. Those are the morning geckos, I'm guessing, and moaning geckos.
Moaning geckos.
All right, so this one was aimed for me. How did you manage to juggle keeping your animals to a high standard while looking after a baby? Quite simply, I got the wife to look after the baby. No.
I was about to joke that as well. Palm it off. It's not important right now.
Baby's crying. Baby's crying. It was tough. It was, and obviously to make it even more tough, which to be fair, could be a live chat exclusive. I don't know how many people know this, but we're actually expecting another one as well. So baby number 2 is on the way, which means that whatever I've put into practice on the first one is going to come into play in a few months' time as well. So that's going to be fun. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. The first 4 to 6 months of having a child became a bit of a blur. Mainly because it gave me the postnatal depression. So that might be why. So I don't really remember it that well, but the animals was a bit of an escape. It was a good way of, because obviously Mrs. and baby having a nap. I think, I'm doing helpful things like sterilizing bottles and doing other bits, cleaning the house maybe, and blah, 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 blah. But then you get that bit of time just to come in and feed Ragnar or, handle a snake or two and it's a nice release because you can almost just shut down and just enjoy the animals for that brief period of time. Like, unfortunately, they didn't get neglected, but obviously newborn baby in the house, that you're going to spend less time with them, of course. But when you do spend time with them, it is a nice release. So to whoever, the person that asked that, essentially it's a nice escape. Like, you've still got to keep on top of it, and the last thing you want to do after maybe changing a newborn nappy is to go and then clean snake shit as well, but needs must at the end of the day. So it was tough, and it's only going to get tougher, but self-inflicted though, I guess.
But at the same time though, like, that kid gets to grow up like surrounded by like crazy animals now. So
yeah. I mean, it was funny. I was back in London this weekend, and we went to a little area where there's like garden centres, aquatic shops, reptile shop, and things like that. So we went into the reptile shop, and it was a reptile shop that I went in a few times when I was like 10 to 15 years old. So it's been 15, 20 years since I was there, because I left home 10 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And I took my boy in there as well. So he's only 17 months old. So I took him in there. I showed him the reptile shop that I sort of grew up with and things like that. And I was chatting to the lady. She was like, I was saying, I used to come here when I was a kid, and now I've got my own. And she went, that's great. He'll have his first reptile soon as well then. And I went, I can assure you we already have plenty of reptiles at home. But yeah, he quite enjoys looking at them. I don't let him handle anything just yet. He's still too small for that.
You mean he's not riding Ragnar?
Not yet, no. Because he's still, like with Aya, for example, he'll stroke her, and then all of a sudden he'll just grab the fur. And you're like, I'd rather he didn't grab a snake like that or something.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it. So when he gets a bit older, potentially. But for the meantime, it's almost just exposure though, because he's not going to be one of these kids that at school is like, spider, snake, because not that he's going to see any snakes at school, but you know what I mean? Like, when people talk about snakes, he's not going to go, disgusting. He's got animals, so and no shortage of them. I love escaping the realities of life and spending time with my collection. It's so relaxing. Definitely. I do think fish tanks are good for that as well. There's not, I know this is a reptile chat, but I do enjoy sitting watching my fish tank as well. It is quite relaxing. Get that baby his own rack. Well, yeah.
Get him stick insects.
Yeah, I've got some of them, to be fair. Yeah, baby's best friends. Can you keep children in racks? That question's being asked already. I mean, look, you can keep anything in a rack if you're brave enough. As long as you can, if you've got the muscle to get it in there, then you can keep anything in a rack. I could probably fit Ragnar in a rack. I'd probably lose a couple of fingers doing so. Can I be like you when I grow up? I'm afraid not. No. Have you got this? Because this one might go to you. Have you got cats or dogs or anything as well?
Yeah,
you have. Well, I was asked a question, but I'm assuming this can go to you. Has your cat ever had a go at any of your reptiles? So you can start with that one.
The cat I used to have before it died, used to like just mouth the glass where the beardy was. It's like, oh, but that was the only one that did it. I had 3 at the time, and the other 2 didn't bother.
Okay.
And the one that is currently left doesn't bother anyway. Doesn't even come into the room. Doesn't give a shit. So
Okay, fair enough. Mine aren't really that bothered either, to be fair. I mean, if I was a gambling man, I'd put my money on my reptiles anyway, because my cats aren't really cats. They're basically some sort of pampered, babied, fluffy things. So the only thing that annoys me, because Ragnar is in a separate reptile room, so we keep this one shut. And it's really weird because she doesn't give a shit when the dog comes into the room, but when the cats come into the room, she freaks out. It's really weird. Like, I don't understand, because the dog is so much bigger, but she's not really that bothered. But if she sees the cat, she's like, "Nah, you're good," and she'll just huff and whip and things like that. But we do keep them out of here. They've got not access to the beardies, but the like enclosures. But again, they're not really that bothered, unless they're like moving around or trying to get out or anything like that. They're not really that bothered, so that's good. They've never really gone for them. And to be fair, like I say, if we did let them out at the same time, I really don't think there would be any trouble. I wouldn't risk it and try it. I'm not going to put it to the test, but I really don't think...
I mean, I wouldn't put Ragnar out with the cat, but
that I wouldn't. No, certainly wouldn't do that. But the beardies and things like that, I wouldn't have a problem at all. But like I say, I wouldn't try it anyway. I mean, let me put it this way. This is how uncat-like, if that makes sense, my cats are. So my little sister and her partner lived with us for a little while, and she had a pet mouse, I think it was. Was it a little mouse? Yeah, I think it was a little mouse, right? So we came home one day, and they'd managed to get into the room where the mouse was in her cage, tip the cage over, but I'm assuming that must have scared the shit out of them, because we got back and the mouse was just wandering around the room like nothing had happened. Now, any other cat, that mouse is done. You're probably not even finding a body. But these ones, they just, I don't know, they were just curious, tipped it over, and that was it. They were probably scared of the mouse anyway, to be fair. But yeah, right, let's have a look. But yeah, so in answer to your question, I wouldn't really class my cats as cats. So no, they haven't. Yeah. But no, they haven't had a pop at any of my animals, so that's good. The only one, in actual fact, weirdly, the only animal that they have tried having a pop at is the dog. That's a lot bigger than them, but yeah. Right, this one here. Oh, actually, no, that is different. I was about to say it's similar to a question that we've already got, but it's not. Question: what top 5 reptiles or amphibians you like to see in the wild? That's quite a good question. You can go first.
Royal python, obviously. Probably either an MBK or a Cali.
Yeah.
Beardies, 100% beardies. Chinese crocodile lizard.
Cool.
What's the last one I really want to see? Maybe like an anaconda or something just big.
Yeah. For me personally, I would love to see a roughneck in the wild. I think that would be cool.
They're in America, aren't they?
Yeah. Alaska, they're in that sort of area. Roughneck. What else? Similar, I know what you're saying, like a big snake, probably like a retic sat up in a cave would be sick. Like just waiting for some bats to go past. That would be quite cool. What else? I guess it said I would like to see some sort of venomous snake in the wild. I mean, at the minute, I'd like to see any snake in the wild because I've never seen a wild snake. But
really,
yeah, never ever. But maybe like again, I wouldn't want to get too close, but I think it'd be cool to see maybe like a rattlesnake or something in the wild. I think that'd be pretty cool. What else? I've seen some geckos. That's about it. Similar to you, I think beardies would be cool because obviously old Frizy on Instagram, like the Australian chap, it
would be really cool, wouldn't it?
Mate, like 20 feet in the air in trees. I just think that's so cool, and he helps them across the road and all that if they're wandering into the road. So that's cool. And what else? Reptiles or amphibians? I mean, obviously, I'd love to see loads of them, but what would my top 5 be? Maybe like an Asian water monitor as well, just to see them like fully grown in the wild. Oh, actually, no, Komodo dragon. Let's go with that. I'm going to go Komodo. I think that'd be
Oh
incredible.
yeah, I forgot Komodos existed.
Yeah,
that'd
I
be a
think
good
that
one.
would
That'd be a
be
good one.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. My cousin's seen them. She's been there, and it's unbelievable. She's got pictures of them, and it's just crazy. Whoops, I'm off. So Carter just dropped a juice on the floor. Nice. Nice. We look after our 5-month-old granddaughter, and I set up a play area in the reptile room for when she's there. It helps me to know where she is, and she gets to grow up surrounded by reptiles. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, this is the thing. It's because the majority of people that are scared of snakes and things like that, it's all instilled in them from a young age. That's how you fear things. It's because your parents and things like that and grown-ups tell you this is scary and dangerous. Whereas if you're raised, this isn't scary or dangerous. You could say the same. You could be like, you could teach a child that bunny rabbits are dangerous. If you instill that fear in them, they're going to grow up thinking that they're deadly and dangerous.
Yeah, it could be anything, couldn't it? It doesn't have to be. You could be your parent. You're a parent that's like terrified of dogs.
Yeah.
You pass on that fear of dogs. Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, yeah, my dad, he's not a big fan of dogs. He's not scared of them as such, but he doesn't like them. And he always, we grew up thinking, oh, that dog's going to attack me if I get too close and shit like that. So, whereas I've got a dog now. So, Brandon Doven. Hello, Brandon. Thank you for joining. 20 in the chat and only 5 likes. Let's show Riddle some love. Yes. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you. My beardy is scared of the tortoises and loves the dog, and the dog's much bigger. Holly is 22 months and enjoys spraying and tongue feeding the lizards, holding the snakes and snails and watching the fish. Yes, I've seen that, to be fair, Michael, and it's cool. It's cool.
Cute.
You're starting them early, man, and it's decent. Ragnar knows how to recognize natural born killers. Also, maybe traumatic experience with invasive cats before being caught. Potentially, I guess. Ragnar attacks me. Yeah, Ragnar did. Ragnar did. Ragnar knows who's more dangerous. Komodo dragon, eyelash viper, reticulate python, leaf-tailed geckos, and any bear. Well, the bear is a weird reptile or amphibian, but I'll give you that, Ben.
all right, yeah.
Rock monitor, yeah. I've seen a venomous snake. Wild black or white throat monitors. In Italy, after hanging out with a few Australians for like 3 minutes. Oh, hello. I have rattlesnakes in my yard all the time. See, that's crazy. Like, I don't know if I could deal with, well, I nearly moved to Australia, so it's a bit silly of me to say that I couldn't deal with
rattlesnakes would be really cool. I'd love that.
Yeah. Currently reading my rules, Vivs, and wondering what percentage UVB bulb you both use and what UVI levels should I aim for?
Well, UVI like 2 or 3, and that just trail off into the rest of the enclosure. Percentage was obviously going to depend on everything. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, at the minute, because they've not really had UVB before, I've just sort of started them on the 7% shade dwellers, but they're only an 18-inch tall enclosures at the moment. So it might not be perfect, but it's more than they were getting before. So it's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, does the tuatara strictly classify as a reptile?
I think it does. I think it's a case of tuatara doesn't count as a lizard rather than a reptile. I think it's still a reptile, unless I'm wrong.
It's a running joke because there was one live stream a little while ago that me and Paul were on, and he mentioned different like reptiles and blah blah, and there was a picture one. He said, "Well, what's this one?" And I was like, "I have no idea what that is. It's some sort of lizard." And he was saying tuatara, and I was like, "I have no idea what that is. I've literally no idea." So it's a running joke at the moment, but I literally
don't know what tuatara is.
I had no idea, literally no idea. I do now because I've been grilled enough about it. Bunny rabbits are good royal food. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very true. Around my area, people just get scared of snakes because of the many venomous ones around. However, most just let them be because they eat rats and mice. Well, yeah, they're not only surviving, but in a way, you could say that they do a job as well. That's not why they're there to do it for us, but at the end of the day, they've got their benefits. I'm assuming you mean I find it funny, not iPhoto. Damn autocorrect. when my relatives from the UK come to Australia, because we go and find beauties and blue tongues and they lose their mind. Always forget that there's like 5 reptiles in the UK. Yeah, facts. Mate,
Yeah,
I'll
and the
tell you
habitat
what,
is so fragmented as well.
I'd love it. I'd love to come to Australia just to see some shit. Not literal shit. Watching find like a leopard brown snake. Yeah.
I mean,
You
that's
can
cool.
see an Asian water monitor at my. Yeah, but that's not in the wild though, Ken. That's the difference. Oh, there you go. You've been backed up. It's a reptile. It's not a lizard. Man, why you not trust me? I think he probably did trust you. He's probably just trying to make me look like a dickhead again, which is fine. Now I don't know if Ben is going along with a joke or whether he doesn't know what it is either.
It's a toucan.
For the second time, Liam, he's fake.
Who's fake? Well, you're fake.
I'm fake. Yeah, I'm a fake reptile keeper.
All right.
These
a
royal
fake fan.
keepers, not real reptile lovers. Yeah.
Money lovers.
Well, I think I saw a video about a paper that, at least according to genetic evidence, they probably split off before mammals. Reptiles and dinosaurs were different animals, but I suck at the whole phylogeny. Well, I nearly sucked at saying that word, so that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the answer? I haven't really looked into it in any sort of like depth.
Yeah, and Ben, don't worry, neither did I. But yeah, look into it afterwards. I'm not the person to ask because I still don't know what they are, so that's cool. Ah, Jazz, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Welcome. We're just getting into some more questions. So that was the one about our cats. Oh, okay, here we go. And you'll probably be able to guess who asked this one. Why is the reptile hobby so focused on the wrong stuff?
Take it that's Paul, is it?
Neither confirm nor deny that guess.
I'm just guessing because you said guess who's done it, and Paul's the only one I would guess that you would even reference to. So, well, what is it that you think people are focusing on? I don't know what people are focusing on. I don't really get involved anymore.
I think a lot of people are focusing on other people. So they're focusing on others as opposed to their own care. Is that better?
One of the things that I've been thinking of recently is like so much of what we do is to get sort of like either like someone else to make you feel good, like another keeper's like admiration, or it's like to make you feel like you have a value as a part of like a peer sort of thing. So like realistically, like the MBKs I've read, I didn't really enjoy the process that much, to be honest. I actually prefer just keeping the adults more than just the process of breeding.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think like, why is it that you want to breed? And sometimes you'll say because you want to keep it in herpetoculture, but why is it you want to keep it in herpetoculture? Is it because you want to have that species forever? And in that case, are you keeping it in herpetoculture? Are you just keeping it for yourself within your own collection, have a line that way? Because you're talking about putting it out into herpetoculture. What is it you get out of that? It's because you want to just see it in the future and that feels nice? Or is it because doing that you get something out of the way other keepers make you feel for doing that?
Mm.
I was just like, I'm not saying that I'm judging anyone else. I'm trying to think about what it means to me and how my head works around what I want to do. Like I've kind of got. I was literally about to say fuck the hobby. I've kind of got to the point where I don't really care what happens to it because let's say they ban giants. It's like I don't keep giants. Let's say they ban king snakes like they were going to. Okay, I'll just keep my pair till they get to 30. By that time, I'll be what, like 50 or 45, 50 or something like that. So by that time, I'm old. And I'm just like, well, if they ban wild caught, okay, I don't keep wild caught anyway. And then once you get to the very end, most of us will go just catch some grass snakes and keep some grass snakes anyway. So no one's going to know. And if you're truly doing it for you, and it's not about showboating for other people to see what you're doing and like, oh, look what I'm doing, like what other keepers can make you feel. If you don't give a monkeys about that and you're doing it just for you, you could have a room full of grass snakes and no one know, and you don't give a monkeys because it's for you. And there's nothing that's not illegal as well. Catching grass snakes, it's not.
Is it not?
It's illegal to sell them. If you were to catch a grass snake in your garden, keep it, and then just breed a line in like a room for yourself or an outdoor pits, it's not illegal.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn. Okay, crazy. But I think where
Yeah,
my
I can't
mind
do
just
maths,
went.
leave me alone. I'll think on the spot, mate.
I enjoy that. 45, 50 years old.
Shut up.
To be fair, I was about to say when we're this age, but you're even younger than I am. I'm 30 now, so I'm only 15, 20 years away from that, which is annoying. But yeah, it's like, to be fair, because there's young people younger than me that think 30 is old now, and it really upsets me. Where I was going to go with that. So obviously, I know exactly what we're saying. Are we showing off? Are we doing it for exposure and admiration from other keepers? I think social media has a lot to do with that as well. It definitely does, because obviously that's the way that you get it out, that you've got these animals, that you've done this breeding project, that you've done things like that. Like, without that, without social media, where would the reptile hobby be? Would it be better? Would it be worse? Would it be, who knows? Because obviously you do have your positives of, you've got better care being put out there, but you've also got people buying stuff for social media.
Yeah, I mean, it will be what it will be, is what I realised, and I've tried to learn to not fret too much over it, because otherwise I just get really, really depressed.
Yeah.
So you just got to do what you're going to do what you do because you love it, put out the bits of content that you feel it's going to help reptiles and give you a sense of purpose and helping animals, and then leave it at that, really. That's
the thing. I wonder if maybe people are focusing too much on what others are doing. If you focus on yourself and your own husbandry and your own keeping, and then if you want to share that, then fine. You know what I mean? As opposed to going out and, purposely going out of your way to tell someone to do. You can offer advice and you can be critical and you can talk, but where people go out of their way to do so, I think if you just concentrate on your own thing, surely that's only going to be beneficial for the hobby and your own keeping anyway. Because like you say, the more you focus on the bad stuff, the worse you get anyway.
Yeah, I think there's degrees to it, because some people are doing some fucked up things that I think should be called out. But at the same time, for the most of it, if someone's like just keeping like a bearded dragon and it's like on lino, but it's got a dig box in the corner and its basking spot is all right, I tend not to even bother to comment, because I'm like, I don't, whatever.
Yeah. What the comment's saying? I'm going on an expedition to Australia in January. I will let you know how amazing it was after. Please do. Let me live vicariously through you, because I don't know when I'm going to manage to get to Australia.
Come back to Victory
Yeah, or a boomerang, or both. Who's going to get a new monitor species next, Liam or Andrew? Have you got any monitors on the? Not you.
I would never.
Really?
I wouldn't keep them.
Oh,
I couldn't give them enough. I couldn't give enough space.
Okay.
Going forward, my philosophy is I want to keep things that are either really small or things that don't move much. So, like something like really like the mountain horn dragons, they don't move much, and same with like the Chinese crocodile lizards. Like they're, in terms of like Asian medicinal, like traditional Chinese medicine and whatnot, they think that if they eat these lizards, it'll cure insomnia, because they see it as like, this lizard doesn't move much. It's like the sleepy lizard. So I think it'll make them sleep. So they don't move that much. So things like that I really want to get into. I did used to really want like some like monitors and things like that, because they were exciting and stuff. But in terms of like welfare and that, nowadays I tend to just think of like, I want to look at something I'm doing and think, fuck, I'm doing that really well, and not just like, it's getting by.
Let's just say, just for example, your YouTube blows up, you end up on 1 million plus subscribers, this and that, and it's earning you more than just a living. Like, you're earning serious money.
Yeah.
Would you consider a monitor then? Because you could afford like basically a massive 20 by 20 by 20 enclosure for something like that.
I mean, if I could give like an 8 by 8 or something stupid, or something for an Aki or something, or a pair of Akis or something, that would be cool. But like real life normal person amount of money, I don't know. I don't know if I could be able to do it. I mean, I don't know. Like, let's say someone dumped something on me, I wouldn't just like cast it away, but then I would feel bad for how I'm keeping it because I don't think I'd have the ability to keep it really well.
Yeah. So after that conversation about the grass snakes, Paul thinks I'm going to go out and collect native reptiles, which fair enough. I've not seen any, so I can't collect them anyway. You can also collect wild grass snakes, breed them, and sell their hatchlings legally. You just can't sell the wild caught animals.
Have you seen the grass snake morphs that are popping up?
I haven't seen a grass snake.
If I send you some pictures, can you put them on the screen?
If you send them to my email, yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a go. If you want to like answer some questions real quick, I'm going to send you some of the grass snake morphs that have been popping up. And I'm like, oh,
You've got my email address, haven't you? Yeah, I've just sent you this.
Yeah. I'll reply to that with some pictures. One sec.
Cool.
I know who I sent them to last. So
they should ban mass imports of cheap animals, not all imports. So that I'm assuming you mean like bosks, things like that. Basically, the ones that you can pick up for 30 quid a lizard, and then they just die. Since that asked me back.
yeah. Well, I did say like they I used to like be hyped about them and want them, but like nowadays I'm like,
yeah, 30 years old. Jazz, leave me alone.
Let me find these grass snakes. These are some incredible pictures.
If 30 years old, then I'm ancient. Yeah, but when you focus on yourself, and if you did want to share that on social media, people always have a shitty opinion. Yeah, for sure. The thing is with social media is you cannot win. You've really got to be able to have a thick skin, or not even a thick skin. You don't have to have a thick skin, but it does help because you can post a perfectly adequate, if not better than adequate enclosure, and someone will still have something to say, for sure, without a doubt. Like someone will come along and say, oh, it's not as big as the wild, though, is it? You're like, well, no. But
I think I don't like when people are so militant about things that have a lot of grey area. Like, for example, coil UVB, everyone's like, there is no instance where they should ever be used. I'm like, you're just using it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually look at, like, ISO irradiance charts of some of the UV coils, they're not bad. Like, for a little skink and for a low amount of UVI, that's perfect for a little thing. Or if you've got a tarantula and it's like a really tiny tank, you don't want to flood the entire thing with UV, but if you want to have like one little section of a corner with a UV from a coil, perfect. And mostly, like everyone's forgetting that they're not always a coil anymore. Like compacts are literally just a straight like linear bar that bends back.
I've bought a couple of those recently. The Arcadia ones, I've given them a go. And yeah, so far so good. I mean, it basically means that my Cresty has got UVB for the first time in its life. So, do you know what I mean? Because the setup wasn't set up for that. And then when I saw that, and again, I'm gonna get picked up on this. But when Paul recommended it, I didn't even know they existed, and then I bought a couple. So one's gone. So the Tokay did have a 7%. Why am I struggling to say that tonight? Shade Dweller. But what I did instead is I replaced that with one of those compact lamps, and I gave that 7% UVB to the Royal, and the Cresty got one of those lamps as well. So I bought 2 lamps and 3 animals got UVB. So jobs are good.
Yeah. I mean, I've sent you the email.
Right.
There is like a really, really red one and a really silvery white one.
Yeah.
So when you find that,
let's have a look. Go on my emails. Oh, what's my email address? I mean, my password.
How are you not always logged in?
I was. Oh, hang on. Sign in is blocked. You tried to sign in too many times. No, I haven't.
Well, that's gone. That's
I guess
done
we're
then.
shit out of luck for that then.
What in the UK, Paul? What are we talking about?
Oh, hang on. What are we saying? I wouldn't have said a thing.
What are we talking about? Oh, the grass snakes. Yeah. The grass snakes are yeah. They were found in the UK. I saw them on like ID groups ages ago. And I downloaded the images because they're that cool. So if we're looking,
grass snake morphs. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Is it easy if I just send it to you on Facebook?
Actually, no. I wonder. Can I let you share your screen? Maybe
you could do actually.
Solo layout. Banned from studio. I won't do that. Let's have a look.
Share screen. Yep. Window.
Oh, is it allowing you to do already?
Yeah, I'll try.
Oh, all right, sweet. All right.
Is it working?
Oh, yes, it is. Oh,
right. So this one was one of the silver ones found, which I think are well cool.
That is cool.
I mean, look at that for a grass snake. It's like a ghost.
Yes, yeah,
and then there was a really red one found like that.
Oh,
that's a grass snake. Like, what's going on? Mad.
That's class.
Yeah, I think they're really cool. So there's things like that popping up everywhere. So I just think like everyone used to keep natives until all the exotics came in. So in like the 70s and then we stopped keeping natives.
Yeah.
But like, could you imagine like grass snakes? Like they are some.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I find it so disheartening, and with bosks especially, the information regarding them is so poor. Yeah, we've it's just a thing, unfortunately. I think better information is starting to be put out there, which is good. But the problem is if you walk into a reptile shop and you see a monitor for 30 quid, a lot of people will buy one and attempt to do research later, but it's or they'll hear the bare minimum, feed it some locusts and then a rat, and then that's it. It's game over.
I think the majority of monitor lizards are under energized as well, which is why that people don't struggle with the space.
Yeah. When I was young, like 15 years ago, brought memories back.
I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Right, let's have a look. How excited are you for the 12 pods of Christmas? I hear there is going to be a song. Well, thanks, Repti Chat, otherwise known as Ben. A quick plug for you on here. Yes, the 12 pods of Christmas was good fun to record, and that will be coming out obviously over the 12 days before Christmas. So thank you for having me on. Unfortunately, he did have me singing. I don't know how many others were singing as well.
Oh, you couldn't pay me.
I don't think my face was on screen at the time, so I was sort of. I forgot I asked that. Yeah, it was a little while ago. Like I say, because I've been plugging this for so long, and asking questions from quite a while ago. This was a little while ago now, but thanks for the plug. You are welcome, sir. This was one that was sent to me. How can I get as handsome as you? Also, I miss our cuddles, which could sound weird, but thank you, Martin. I miss our cuddles as well. How to get as handsome as me? I thought
that was directed at me. I was like, who the fuck is that?
No, that one was for me. And to get as handsome as me, you need to eat rubbish, not go to the gym, shave your head, and grow a beard. Which is actually the beard is quite hard for some people, in it. So maybe it's not so easy. But yeah, that's an easy one. More questions. Let's have a look. Where are they? Oh yeah, to be fair, so the one that I thought was a similar question was from Ken with Visions. Both of your top 5 favorite reptiles and why?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't like experienced. I have experienced a lot, but it was kept poorly, so I didn't really experience it. If that makes sense.
Cheers, Paul. Take it easy, easy.
I like Royals. I think Royals are great. Like, I think that the whole like dogma around them and like how people view them has ruined what they actually are. Like, if you actually give them space to be what they are, they're incredible. Like, if you just look in, like, you can look from the hallway, look into my room, and like, I mean, look at the Royal at the moment. Wants out at the moment, but does it every night, goes mad, glass surfs, wants bigger space, which is why it's getting a 7x2x2. But I've ruined my mic now, not mic, camera. But I think they're incredible. Like, you stand in the hallway, you look at that, and you're like, that's a python. Like, forget about everything we've got on our heads. Like, I don't need bigger than that. Like, I've got a python. That's just cool. Like,
before you carry on, I'll tell you what brings it home for me with things like that is when like people say, "Oh, apparently you keep reptiles. What do you keep?" And then a lot of time they go, "Oh, do you keep snakes? Have you got like a python?" And I go, "Yeah, I've got royal pythons." And the look on their face, like you say, they're like, "Jesus Christ, you've got pythons!" And it doesn't. It's not until you speak to someone who's not into the hobby or isn't into snakes and things like that you go, "Actually, that's cool." It is cool. It really is. Like I love the reason I got one in the first place was because I fell in love with the snake. It was incredible. Unfortunately, the cogs turned that I ended up in a position I didn't want to be in, but the love is still there. I still love these snakes. They're really cool.
I think they are the most personable pet snake. I just like I love my kings. Like, I'm obsessed with my female MBK, but like that royal, it's just so cute.
Mm.
Like, there's a picture I took of her the other day. If anyone wants to have a look at it, you can go to my channel, look at the latest community post. But it's just like the cutest picture. It's just like they have that same sort of like vibe of like a puppy or a kitten when you do like that little puppy face. Like I don't know. I just think they're like great, and I think that what people have done to them is just ruined it.
Yeah. I mean, we've started getting people like I don't know if you follow or have seen Marshmallow the ball python, Tara. She's really nice, but she's one of those that she is exposing to the world just how cute these snakes can be. Like she's got the snake in a great setup, beautiful enclosure, all of that, but then she's showing like the little puppy dog face and how cute and sensitive and things like that they are, and it's really really good. So yeah, I think like you say, there is a stigma about them, and the second you start mentioning royals, it automatically goes into racks and all that shit.
Should have never have happened.
Yeah.
In terms of other species, beardies, I love beardies. I think they are a great pet lizard. I just think they're great.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's gonna think this is really boring because I haven't picked some obscure random thing, but like I'm going for like genuinely what is a joy to be around, and not just like what I think is like edgy or like hipstery or cool or whatever. That being said, I like the idea of Chinese crocodile lizards because I basically did this big like project for them during uni, and they've been a thing for me for a while. I like the idea of scorpion geckos as well.
Yeah.
But I can't say I love them for sure because I've never kept them.
Mm-hmm.
What's that for now?
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say king snakes. Yeah. King snakes. Yeah. Love king snakes.
Yeah. To be fair, my milk snake has quickly gone up the list of like the animals that I keep because she is so personable. She's a really, really good character. So I do really enjoy keeping her. Like I say, I love the royals, don't get me wrong, but the milk snake, I don't know why she's just shot up the list. I don't know if it's because I was so used to the royals because it's the first snake I had, and it's just, and then but then obviously at the same time the milk snake has been in a 4x2x18 since I've got her, so she's always had the opportunity to come out and climb
To
and
show
blah, blah,
you,
blah. So
yeah.
to show me what she can do, whereas now I'm starting to see it with the two royals that are in enclosures as well. So there is that, but she has shot up. I do really enjoy keeping the Tokay. I think she's incredible. I do enjoy my leopard gecko as well, especially now that the enclosure is really, really getting so much better. It's just improved over the last few years that I've had her. It's just got from strength to strength. And again, she'll come out. Like if I'm in that room, because that's where my PlayStation is. Oh, no, not anymore. I sold that. My Xbox is. And she'll just pop out and see what's going on. She'll have a little wonder. She'll hear commotion, come up to the glass, have a little, sniff of my hand, and then just bugger off again. So she's really nice. But the Tokay, I don't know, the Tokay just seems something special. Like a blue and orange lizard. It's just sick. It's a Pokemon, basically.
And I love the whole like living in family groups aspect of Tokays. I think that's really cool.
I'm hoping to get a male at some point in the next, preferably few months.
That would be cool.
And I just think that's going to be class. Because, I mean, she's by herself. It's a 4 foot tall by 2x2. It's that conversion. I don't know if you've seen it. The converted Tokay enclosure I did. No, she's in a big enclosure to herself. So I can have a male in there as well. I'll show you after this, to be fair. Cool. But I'm really proud of it. It's one of my best builds and things that I've ever done. It's got like a ventilation system in there and all sorts. It's class. So what have I said so far? I've said milk snake, tokay. To be honest, I've forgotten the question. Top 5 favorite reptiles. Roughneck monitors, for obvious reasons. Ragnar has made me fall in love with the species, and now every single time I see, because some new babies have come into the country and people are sending them to me, and it upsets me because I'm not getting any. I'd love to, I just can't. I just can't right now. I haven't got, well, I could, but I can't at the same time. Like, I'm happy with what I've got. I would have to sell other stuff and move them on in order to keep more roughnecks, but I'm happy with where I am at the moment. So possibly in the future.
Here's the question though: do we really love the species, or do we just love the individuals we own?
Yeah, see, that is a very good question. That was one of the worries and one of the concerns is, if I was to get more, would I love them as much as I love Ragnar? I don't know. Because like you say, is it just the individual? Quite possibly. So it is an interesting one. But like I say, I don't think I'd get any more roughnecks until I knew for a fact I had the room to do so. Because it's all well and good saying I could get 1 or 2 babies now and keep them in a 4x2x2. But then what happens in a year time when they're, reaching a good size? Ragnar alone is in an 8-foot viv.
Yeah. So when the YouTube money starts rolling for you, then you can get all the roughnecks.
Fingers crossed, mate. I mean, like I say, I'm bordering 1,500 viewing hours, so bit of a way to go yet. But we'll see. We're getting there, and obviously with some current plans that I'm hoping to act on, we should get there a bit soon, mate. I spent like a good few days changing every single thumbnail on my channel. It was
that
hard
conversation
work.
we had help then?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I changed every single thumbnail and they look so much better. Like, all you have to do is scroll through my like playlists and things like that, and you can see the writing, and you can see the animal or whatever is on there, and you know what you're getting. So that's good. So I'm doing things like that, and obviously I've got other plans as well. So yeah, fingers crossed. Let me just quickly, before I carry on, do you remember your group chat nickname? I don't. And if it's rude, please message me, because I don't remember that. But Tube the Snake does a similar thing on IG. She also keeps in racks, but they are 6x4 racks with UVB. I've seen that, to be fair. She's quite good. My top 5 are Asian water monitor, Burmese python, green tree python, Fiji banded iguanas, blue tree monitors. Good list. Now, of all the animals we have here, my favourites are the tortoises and the mourning geckos. Tokay bites are not fun. No, they are not. I have taken a bite, not from mine, but when I was part of a reptile shop, someone did come in and say, "Can I have a tokay?" And I just went,
I know that feeling.
like, yeah, I guess. I think tokays and jeweled lacertas where least understand why would you want a more. Oh, right. Where I least understand why would you want a morph over the natural color. Yeah, I agree. Like, obviously you've got the patternless and things like that. Don't get me wrong, they are still cool, but I don't think you can beat that powder blue and bright orange animal. I just think they're stunning.
There's a reason zoos all use them for the posters and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Although the red ones are quite cool, though. Tortoises are underrated. I love these as himself, not other Asian water monitors. Yeah, there you go. That's what you were saying. When Vicky got them, I thought they were going to be really boring. They have amazing personalities and are hilarious. Hurts when they bite, though. I'm assuming that's the mourning geckos. Whenever the TV in my room is on, my corn snake comes out, so I take the time to open her enclosure, and she's okay then. But from the second I touch her, she zips away in between her pile of branches. Yeah, I guess it's just a case of just reading your. Well, it sounds like you're just reading your animal, and you know what she does and doesn't like. So, you've got to build that relationship.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. You got to build that relationship. Slowly, I guess. Baby roughnecks. To be fair, if I didn't have Ragnar, Jazz would have had Ragnar. Because they're friends of ours that we met through the shop, and they very, very nearly got Ragnar, but I just pipped them to it. But luckily for them, they can come round and see Ragnar, which we still need to sort out. And tortoises. Oh, right, the tortoises, the mourning geckos don't bite. Oh yeah, of course, silly me, my bad. Right, I got up to 3 animals, didn't I?
And
It
I
was.
interrupted you.
Yeah, no, all right.
But then bears, though.
Yeah. Brilled dragons. I've never kept them, but you almost can't get a more Jurassic Park looking lizard.
Mm.
I would love to have a frilled dragon. Like my missus finds them creepy, so I don't know what. I think if I was to get a reptile room that's not connected to the house, it would be a higher possibility. Because she does find them a bit creepy, but I think they're cool. I saw some baby ones recently in another reptile shop. They're so cute, and then when they get bigger, they're just really cool. So I'll go for them, and then I'll go for green tree monitors as well, the old Prasinus, because I'm just obsessed with green tree monitors. I've not got one. They are on the list, even if they are quite far down or like far away because they are quite expensive. But I would adore. Look at him the second I say. See what I mean? He's here because I've mentioned Frillies because he breeds them, Michael, and also the old Prasinus because he's recently got his own and it's an absolute beauty. Frillies are wonderful. They are indeed. And it's funny because that's the most inaccurate. Sorry, Jurassic Park. Yeah, but when you that's the thing. It is. But the second you see one, you go, yeah, Jurassic Park. Jazz, I'm not going to put that what's it the name on the screen, but I do remember that now. Visions, Michael Frilly, yeah, Frillies and pink tongue skinks. Michael breeds. That's cool. Morning Gecko's been around my house ever since I discovered that I had a gap between the sliding glass. Good luck ever catching all of them, is all I'll say. Right, so those are our top five reptiles. Oh, interesting. How do you rate yourself as a keeper?
I don't know. My opinion changes every week.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have a week where I'm like feeling it, and then the other week I'm like, God, I'm doing that shit.
Mm.
Like I look at my royal, and it's like 4.5 foot in a 4 foot, and even though I have 7 foot on order, it bothers me. I'm just like, I went and stayed at Thomas Griffith's house recently. Just goes with the little lighting and stuff.
Yeah,
I saw the lighting in his vids, and I come back and I'm like, oh. It's ridiculous. So I think I do all right. Yeah.
Would you say it's a positive sign that you don't always hold yourself in high regard when it comes to your keeping? Would you say that's a positive thing? Although, just quick one. See you later, Ben. Thanks for joining, mate. You take it easy.
I don't know. Like
because it surely that means that you're always looking to improve. Because if you were like, I am a great keeper and this is it, you wouldn't look at improving again.
I think. Well, I mean, like my mindset is that once you ever reach that point where you think you're done, you might as well just stop. Stop keeping if you think you completed it. Like J between us completed it, mate.
Completed it, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I even think I once attended a seminar and it was Jerry Crichton or something like that. He's the guy at the elephants at Dublin Zoo. Have you ever watched the zoo? It's about the zoo in Ireland. They got the elephants and stuff.
No.
And they literally have like these forage box in the elephant house walls. They're on timers throughout the night, so there's like staggered effect of like these open and there's like foraging opportunities, and then like these elephants have to like reach up and forage and stuff, or they have like bales that come down at different times, and like constantly to be like enrichment's bullshit. There's enrichment makes it sound like it's supplementary, but what it actually is like standard part of the care. Like once you start thinking about it as supplementary, you think of it as like, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it, when it should be just bog standard. And even though that's always stuck with me, I've been like, oh, what enrichment have I done this week other than just like how I keep them? Like there's a difference between an enriched environment and then actual enrichment. And like I always beat myself up about like, oh, I could have like a wall of like these boxes that open up on timers, and if I had a monitor, like that was what I would feel like I need to do. Otherwise, I would feel a bit shit about it. But I don't think I'll ever do enough. Like I really want to have like a bearded dragon, and then like a foot of substrate. So no matter what part on the thermal gradient she digs her burrow where she wants it.
Yeah.
Like not where I place to hide, where she decides to dig.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm ever going to be happy with what I've got and how I do things.
Yeah. But like I say, I'd probably consider that a positive, because I agree. There are times that I look at some of my enclosures and I go, I'm doing all right here. I'm really doing all right, and I'm giving the animals at least the bare minimum of what they deserve and as much as I can at the moment. But then again, the problem is once again, I walk into this room and see snakes in tubs and I go, you're a piece of shit and you shouldn't keep animals. Even though I know the upgrades are coming and they are going to be in big enclosures, or bigger, I should say, I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? But it's still that part of me, like, I'm a very impatient man as well. Like, if it was up to me, I would have already bought all the wood to be upgrading their, like, building their vivs, and I'd be building them until 2 a.m. But it's just not possible at the minute. I just can't do it. So even though I know that upgrades and positives are on the horizon, I still beat myself up. I'm like, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. It was too late. It's too late. It's done. Why are you going to beat yourself up about it? Just concentrate on what to do next, which is why when I got the Tokay, she went in a 4-foot tall viv, and now I've looked at myself and I've gone, I cannot, my standards cannot slip below that now. Do you know what I mean? They have to be at a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, I hold myself to such a high standard, and like, I started off thinking like this and this and this, and then like what I want for myself has just gone like very, very far. Now I want things that don't move much, so that like a big enclosure is like really, really good. Like, there's a paper I read on Cali Kings, right, where their territory range was literally like females was like 2.5 hectares, and then the males was like 8 hectares. But when they actually did GPS tracking on them, what they would do is they would like congregate around a den site, use that area, and then move on another den site, and just slowly work around this territory. They're not using that entire space, the entire thing. And what they found was like these snakes were moving on average, less than 20 meters a day.
Right.
But the GPS could only pick up anything more than 5 meters.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Even if I give them like a 7-foot viv, that's like only just over 2 meters.
Yeah.
So the GPS would even pick that up moving in the viv.
Yeah.
But they are definitely moving on average, less than 20 meters. So I'm like, okay. So I've got 10% of what they would move in a day. I feel that's really good. But if you take a berm, even actually in his like 17-foot viv, that 10% becomes 0. Blah 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 blah, because they use like berms use. Have you been to Marwell Zoo?
Do you know what? I lived in Portsmouth for 5 years and I never went to Marwell Zoo.
Okay, so they use 250 acres a day. They move 100. That's how much berms move. So if you take that and you bring it back down to the space you're providing it, it's like point not. It's ridiculous. So I feel awful about that. And it shouldn't be done. Like, we just shouldn't keep them.
Yeah.
But with the Kings, I'm at 10%. I actually feel all right about that.
Yeah.
And some other stuff, like if it's like, I don't know, like Boyd's forest dragons that basically just kind of sit for a long period, and they're thermoconformers, not thermoregulators. So they just kind of sit. If I had that in like a really big setup, I feel good about that. Or if I had like something small but in a big setup, I would feel good about it. That's where I want to be, because otherwise I'm just constantly kicking myself. Like, it has to be better, it has to be better, it has to be better.
Yeah. I think it's always good though, like, even regardless of what size species, it's always good to say I could do better.
Oh yeah. 100%.
It's like at the minute I'm trying to get everyone to at least an adequate point. But then let's just say in the future, like, the aim is to make this a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, get that YouTube dollar. But the reason I want to do that is because I then want to upgrade everyone again. It's because I want better once again. So I think that's a good thing. Like, I want to get to the point where I feel like everyone's in at least adequate, because at the minute they're not. I always hold my hands up and admit that. That I want to get to that point first, and then slowly I can start just continually improving, because I don't think we'll ever be able to complete reptile keeping. It just doesn't work like that.
If you were a billionaire, what would you do? What would you do with your life?
Oh, a billionaire! I'll tell you what. Oh,
If money was literally unlimited funds and
mhm,
basically at that point life and everything in it is free, what would you
mhm.
do with your life?
Ah. I certainly wouldn't be an electrician anymore. I'll tell you that much for free.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
granted, yeah.
going to work. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. Do you know what? I think I'd still be like building reptile stuff because I enjoy it. Like it's something I enjoy doing. Except this way, instead of being like, right, I've got a 50 quid budget at B&Q, I just fucking go and buy all sorts. And just because I enjoy the building, it's not even just the keeping of the animals. I like doing DIY builds and things like that.
So you'd still keep
Um,
reptiles.
I think I would. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only concern is would I be jetting off everywhere too often, potentially? But then potentially not, because obviously I've got a young family, so I don't think I'd. In actual fact, that was one joke I made to Mrs. I was like, look, if I make it in the next few years, whilst you're at home looking after the kids, I'll just send you some pictures and videos from me in like the Amazon rainforest and things like that. She was like, no, you absolutely will not. Oh, why not? I said, I'll go swimming, climbing waterfalls, and I'll just let you know how it is. She was like, no, absolutely not. Boring. So yeah, I think I would still keep reptiles, to be fair, but obviously money or object, you could give them the world. They could all, you could buy a 15-bedroom house and give each reptile a bedroom, for God's sake. So you could build like a zoo. But yeah, I do think I still would. But then at the same time, I would be out in my my hypercars and supercars quite often as well. So very much into my cars.
I don't even think I would do that. Like, I would just drive, like, well, for one, I would drive, and then secondly, I would just be whatever. It's just got wheels and it moves, isn't it? That's like
Yeah,
after that. I think the reason that everyone wants to be rich is not because they want a lot of money. It's because what we all actually want is freedom.
we want, yeah, 100%,
And it's just that
100%.
money is a tool to give us the freedom. And then
Yeah.
with our freedom, how do we want to spend our time within that freedom? And that is still with reptiles.
See, that's the thing. Like when I talk about, like, so I have a laugh and I say, oh, I'm nearly at 1 million subscribers. Only 999,200 to go. I'm sort of joking when it comes to that. But if I was earning enough on here that was earning what I earn at my current job, and I could put my tools down, do you know how happy that would make me? Like, it's
I
all
do
well
know,
and
yeah.
good. Well, yeah, you do. Like, it's all well and good saying, this could make you a lot of money, but if it made me enough money to live, do you know how happy that would be? Incredible. But I don't.
Freedom.
It's almost, yeah. It's like anything more than that is just extra. But just to be able to live in this would be absolutely superb.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to ask yourself what is enough for you. Because if you don't have a standard of yourself of what is enough, you'll always be continually wanting more. Like
Yeah.
1 million won't be enough, 2 million, and then it'll be 3 million, and you just never want more. For me, I'm like, if you got to the point where you were on like 2.5, 3 grand a month, for me, I think you've already escaped the rat race by just being a YouTuber on that sort of level of money. So
yeah, 100%.
It's freedom.
And that, like I say, that would be enough. Like, it's all well and good, like I say, me saying, oh, you could, if you've got 500,000 subscribers, you could earn 10 grand a month. But that's just extra. It is. It's all, that's just extra that you've got to maybe have more fun in that freedom, but just enough to live off of and comfortably survive. I'd take that all day, all day.
I would never stop doing this.
No,
not a chance.
No.
Like, I feel like it gives me such a sense of purpose that
Yeah,
I don't think I could not.
Yeah, just a quick shout out, 414 Exotic Pets. Thank you for joining. 2 very good choices of animals as well. What else we got? Ken's had a bit of trouble because he said Metch coming soon, and he said Mercy, and he said Merkagu, and then eventually managed to say Metch. Green tree pythons and black throats, beauties. I think green trees are gorgeous. Yeah. Riddler, I have that 4x3x2 available as of next week. Interesting. I'm sure we will talk, sir. I put my skink in a 5x2x2 a few days ago. It made such a difference. She hasn't even used a hide now. In her 4x2x18, she hid all the time. This is what I mean. If you give them the opportunity and you give them that choice, you're going to see a difference. You're going to massively see the difference. This is what I mean. The only thing I can compare it to at the minute is my Royals, the ones that are in Vivs. I'm giving them that choice to explore, to climb, to hide. And at night, they will come out and they will climb, both of them, because they've got the choice to do so. The ones that are in the boxes, they haven't got a choice. That's all well and good saying, oh, yeah, they don't climb. Well, how can they? So, no, that's great. That's decent, Brandon. Nicely done.
Schrodinger's Python is all that is.
Yeah. Hey guys, what's up? Didn't even know about this podcast. Just saw it and jumped on here quick. Glad I'm catching this. Nice to see you, Amy. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Viv, I'd love an alligator snapper. Fee, everyone's shouting out Amy. 20 people watching this. Everyone go and like this video. Yes, please do. If you haven't already, please go and like the video. I just want to breed to be able to do it and to help support my bills of the actual hobby, not to live off of. I mean, what you're saying is they're basically the animals are paying for themselves, which is, you know, in the day it can be an expensive hobby. So if you're producing animals to pay for the hobby, as long as it's done right, which I know Gary would, fine.
What I find happens as well is when you get into like bigger enclosures and stuff, you find that all the lights and the equipment and the enclosures and the design of the enclosures is as much of a hobby as actually the actual animal itself.
100%. I love setting up the new enclosures. I think it's class. I think it's really good. Like I say, I love building the enclosure. I built Ragnar's enclosure and it was good fun. Reptiles in the wild move for specific reasons, finding resources, the ones we provide, and avoiding predators, the ones they'll never encounter in captivity.
Yes and no.
It's an interesting point. Yeah, go on.
But also, like, there's so many things that they also will do because they just want to. Like, let's say they're actually reasonably warm, but they want to go sit in a sunny patch because the infrared just feels nice. There's just so many things that's like they will interact with novel objects just because they want to. There's so many things that animals do just because they want to, whether that's in the wild or not. So I get the point, but also I see this point made so much as a means to try and make out like they're just little machines, where in actuality, like, these are like sentient like creatures, and it's just I don't know, like my brain just thinks about like I don't know if you watched a video I sent you about like naturalistic fallacy or whatever, and and the actual. Did you watch that video?
I haven't had a chance to yet. No.
Disgraceful. That was weeks ago. Everybody, I'm leaving. See.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes animals will just do stuff just because they want to. Like, how many times do you see like mice, for example? They've put like a wheel out in a field and of a nighttime camera, and there's mice that are just on this wheel.
Yeah.
That was not a survival. There's no reason to do that other than just because they want to.
Yeah.
Like I think that there is so much more to these animals that everyone gives them credit for. And there's still this like weird need to dilute them down to like this mechanomorphism thing.
Yeah.
But,
no, I agree. And to be fair, the follow-up, we shouldn't try to match exact ground covered in the wild, but provide enough exercise so they don't get fat and unhealthy. Yeah, but obviously the bigger you can offer, the better, for sure.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yes and no as well. Like some things, they just have this innate. For example, let's look at like so Ellie, my girlfriend, she has a working spaniel and then like a show spaniel. One's absolutely nuts and is neurotic and doesn't stop, and the other one just sleeps on the sofa. There's like an innate genetic drive to just move a certain amount, and that is the same for every species that there is as well. So there are some species that just want to move so much that the amount of space that they do need is just gargantuan.
I did miss there you go. I've just seen Brandon, but I did miss this one earlier on. So Liam, with the knowledge from seeing Thomas's lighting, will you make a video on it? I'm very curious how he does his setups.
No.
No.
I won't make a video about his setups because I didn't film when we were there. It wasn't like an agreed vlog when we were there. So if I just make a video in retrospect about someone else's vids when I went around his house just to stay there as like mates, not about reptiles or filming or anything, is a bit weird. But if he wanted to do like a podcast episode or something and just talk about the setups and stuff, that'd be cool. But yeah, I'm not going to just be like, guess what I saw.
Setting up the lighting is a hobby in and of itself. Liam, I was very serious when I commented on your ball python video about that 10-hour video about lighting.
I'm making something at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it won't be like 10 hours, but I mean, I'll be surprised if it's not over half an hour.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Just about lighting in general.
Riddler, would you mind helping me set up the new Viv I've got coming? Should be fine, mate. Hit me up when you've got it going on, as long as I'm off, and I should be able to help out. Right, we're caught up. Let's have a look at some more questions. Okay, what's wrong with the reptile hobby?
It's too much is about money. Too much is about money.
Mm-hmm.
I like one of the reasons I started Reptiles and Research is also because I didn't want to breed for money. I wanted to make videos about helping reptiles and keeping them well to pay for the reptiles, and that's what I've kind of done. But I always had it in my mind that I didn't want to breed animals for money.
Yeah.
I bred my MBKs because I wanted to experience it. Maybe it was just like, oh, I absolutely love it. But I've done it twice. Each time I was like, doesn't hit that nerve in the same way. So, or maybe because I didn't do it in the way that I wanted to. I mean, maybe in the future I'll find a way that works and I absolutely adore it. But
yeah,
for the most part, at the moment, I'm like, nah.
No, that's fair enough. No, I agree. Because obviously you find these ones that are easy to breed, and then you've got all the morphs, and then obviously we know what I'm talking about here. It's easy to do. You can get two snakes that are worth 500 quid a piece, and they can make babies that are $3,000 a piece.
Yeah,
it's an incentive because some of them it's very, very easy to do. It's very, very easy.
And the more you sit and think about it, the weirder it gets that we buy and sell like living animals, like living sentient creatures. It's so it's so weird in like a way.
For me, like I understand when you're breeding an animal that maybe is harder to get. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've got a specific breeder of a certain animal that is, you can't just put them in a box and they breed, then that sort of is a bit better because you're possibly supplying the demand. But when you're just trying to create new colors and new morphs that are going to be sold to other people who have got other colors they want to put that one with to get different colors, the pets have gone. There's no more pets. It's just they're just monetized, and it's all just it's things like that. So it's a shame.
There's a term for like this whole thing of like when you sell things for the intent for someone else to buy it and make money out of it. There's this like thing of like this bubble, like it goes up and then it dips down below the actual items. I hate saying item, but in case of the thing that's talking about markets and products and stuff outside of reptiles, the actual item's worth, and it dips down below that and it comes back, and eventually it like equalizes like at the actual worth of the item. After that bubble bursts. So I think over time raw pythons will sort themselves out, but at the same time raw pythons can live like for 60 years. So the ones that are born now floating about everywhere, they're still going to be here in 60 years time.
It's crazy.
It's still going to be like a lot of royals about, and then people are still making more. What I think is despicable, which I absolutely think is disgusting, is that people will have like 2021 animals for sale still, but are still pairing. And it's like you haven't even moved on the animals you produced last time. Like, what are you doing? I just I don't know. I don't like it.
Just a quick one. Hello, I have not asked your question yet, so don't worry, it is coming. But I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Because it's like when does it end? Like, and the surplus ones, which is a horrible thing to say, where do they go? What happens to them? What becomes of them?
We all know what raw python keepers do. Well, not keepers. The hardcore
breeders.
millers. We all know snakes get chucked in freezers and chucked in the CO2 chambers. We all know it.
Mm.
We all know it's a thing. We all know it's a thing.
But it's not spoken about.
Yeah, unless you're me. I'm like,
Yeah. It's very, very rare that you hear things like that, because it's not a question that you really hear or ask, or it's spoken about. It's almost like so taboo, but it's almost protecting those that are breeding.
I mean, I've said it loads of times recently, but I generally think there's like 3 tiers to the reproduction or breeding of animals, right? I think there's genuine breeders who are breeding for like lineage, in body size, in body composition, in health, in genetic health. And if you look at fairy tale dragons in Florida or dragoon geckos in Germany, doing the leopard geckos, she did everything using like racehorse stud book techniques and things. Hardcore breeder, that's a breeder.
Yeah.
And then you've got the people that are just churning out a load of snakes in racks. That's milling. That is milling. Everyone can say, "Oh, you can't call it a puppy mill." Yes, I can. It might not be a puppy mill, but it's just milling snakes. Argue me all you want. I don't care. Like, it's milling snakes. And then I think the third tier is just people that are just reproducing pets.
Yeah.
Like I've got a pair of MBKs and I've paired them twice and I've bred them twice. I don't consider myself a breeder, because I've not gone hardcore down the rabbit hole. I'm not milling. I'm just a pet keeper that has reproduced some pets.
Yeah.
And I think that for some reason, if someone's like reproducing pets, they're like, "Oh, we're all breeders. We're all breeders. We have to defend these mills because we're all the same." I'm like, "No, you're fucking not. What are you talking about?" Someone who's bred like some dogs, or a hardcore like certified dog breeder, is not looking at the dog mill down the road and going, "Oh, we need to defend them because we're all in the same boat." Everyone's that's disgusting down there. Like, every dog keeper is not like, there's a puppy mill down the road. Everyone's like, report that because that's messed up. But for some reason in reptile keeping, it's like, oh, we're like, the moment you align yourself with things that you morally oppose, like what you doing, personally, I think that the moment we fear losing reptiles more than we fear not doing right by them, is the moment we fucked up.
Yeah.
I would rather lose it all than defend basic animal abuse.
Yeah.
There was another podcast I watched, and they were saying like, "Oh, well, we're under attack from the animal rights antis." And I know someone I don't really like, but they basically just I knew that they threw a crested gecko in a bin to die. But we all got to stand together, and I'm like, fuck that. I'd rather watch it all burn.
Yeah. Well, that's it. At the end of the day, it's these are animals, like we've said a few times already. These aren't, we're not building Hot Wheels cars. These are living creatures at the end of the day. And the reason we keep them is because we love nature and we love the animals. The second you start saying, yeah, but they're animals, but they were surplus or things like that, that's when it starts going to shit. And like I say, I'm not one to call people out online because I'm not perfect myself. I know you don't have to be. I sort of keep myself to myself and just sort of show how I do it and my journey from rack to vivs and things like that. But there has to be a point where people go, this isn't okay. This just isn't okay. At what point do we stop and we go, yeah, it's all well and good saying, oh, they're coming for the reptile hobby, but they're not. They're coming for the people that are milling animals.
Yeah.
Hey-ho.
I mean, I'm probably not making friends here, am I?
No, I think, to be fair, happy to be here. I can already tell this is going to be a great conversation. It's a snake meal for sure. So there you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that she agrees with me. She donated a lot to the deep dive. So yeah, I already could. Yeah. I can tell that she agrees.
Yeah. I didn't even know that they cold snakes like they do with the mice.
I mean, that's not everyone. It's not like
of course.
A standard thing, but we just know it does happen.
Yeah. We have a pair of Australian water dragons in a 12 by 2 by 4 viv with a large water feature. If they breed, great. If not, we just enjoy them.
That's the way it should be. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
absolutely spot on. That sounds cool as well, Rick. I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen that enclosure. To be fair, mate, that'd be cool. I agree with everything Liam's saying. So there you go. You are making friends. I'm assuming the ones that are staying silent might not, but it is what it is. Okay, all right. And then the follow-up to that was, what's good about the reptile hobby?
I mean, it gives you such a incredible sense of purpose. Like, there are so many people, like, when I was going in my early 20s, when I got into like reptiles and stuff, so many people around me are like, oh, I don't know what I want to do with my life, or I don't know what career to go for. And during that period of time where like you're just so lost and everyone's so lost in themselves and they don't know who they are yet, reptiles has given me such an incredible sense of self-worth and knowing who I am to my core as a person and what I believe my purpose on being on earth is. Like, I don't think I will ever be able to give back to reptiles as much as what reptiles has given to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel like I generally feel like I want to almost be of service to reptiles by helping the keepers help the reptiles. In a nice way possible. I don't really give a shit about a lot of keepers, but that's the way that you help the reptiles, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like that you've, like I've said this to you before, where you've basically said the battle against the older generations that have been stuck in their ways for 20 years, it's a battle not worth fighting because they're just not going to change their minds. But they're a dying generation. So the ones
Quite
that
literally.
are coming up, literally. So the ones that are coming up and are learning and are only just getting into it, if you can start them on the right tracks, then give it a generation or two and we're going to hopefully be where we want to be. Or at least it's going to be a higher percentage of people keeping correctly and lower. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, a lot of people, regardless of who you are and whether you say, I don't care, peer pressure can have an effect, or not even peer pressure, but just pressure from the other side. Like, if at the minute your community is mainly bigging up what you do and you're saying this is right and this is how you should do it and we're all good, but then all of a sudden, if you go a few years later and you've got people not buying your animals because they're like, I don't like the way you're breeding them and keeping them and it's wrong, at some point something's got to give, surely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's possibly where we're headed. Like, there's 40,000+ royals alone on Morph Market in Europe, not even in the US, in Europe. Why?
I hate it.
Why? Like, what's the point? I mean? But if you've got, it's not even supplying a demand anymore. It's just churning out animals and hoping they make you a quick buck. Whereas, hang on, where's the comment? There it is. I bet royals would give better clutches if given UV and proper lighting when they wouldn't need so many snakes. Facts. Absolute facts.
Well, even if
I'd
not,
pay twice as much for a royal raised on UVB and halogen.
well, I think even if it doesn't give you bigger clutches, I think you get better
Just
survival
healthier,
rates.
I think. Yeah.
Because embryos need like large amounts of vitamin D. So having lots of vitamin D circulating in the blood serum of a raw python and that being available to go into the egg, you should have higher survival rates.
Yeah.
As long as you're not like desiccating eggs or anything like that. But
yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Those of us that have the love and desire and passion to do it don't have the space or number of breeding animals with data before implementing UV and to even do the after. But those are the ones that are in a position to actually learn that and see if it does have a role are the ones that are like, no, light stress of snakes, I don't want to do that. So we'll never know because the people that are in the position to actually do that don't want to do that.
Yeah. I agree with Liam as well. It may be a hard reality to face, but I'm grateful for these two having these hard conversations. Yeah, we're here for it. Like I say, I mean, I'm pretty convinced Liam doesn't care what he says anymore. And to be fair, I'm with him on that one because these conversations need to be had. And if it gets hate, then so be it. But we get a lot of love as well. So on one side, it makes people interested in conversation, but without the hobby, conservation might not even be necessary. Interesting point. I see what he's saying there. So if we didn't keep the animals, then they wouldn't be getting taken out of the wild anyway, is what he's saying. But then it's not just the reptile hobby that's killing these animals. It's obviously encroaching on territory and things like that. So that's where I think the positive comes in, is because you could be losing these animals in the wild. So we've got them in captivity. Which, to be fair, there you go. Brandon, I think pet trade in most cases can't hold a candle to habitat loss, despite the trade being a problem for several species.
I don't think they're doing much for conservation anyway, to be fair. Like a lot of us, let's say if I had Chinese crocodile lizards, right, critically endangered, my animals are of no conservation value whatsoever because the lineage isn't known. If they didn't come from a stud book, they're just wayward crocodile lizard individuals that, do you know if they're a mix of the Vietnamese or Chinese subspecies, or do you know if like they're really inbred? And like for people to do reintroduction in conservation, it's hardcore stud books, breeding for that purpose. Like it's just 99.9% of all of our pet reptiles are of no conservation value whatsoever. And like we like to bang the drum of conservation because it's like a good pro that we want to spread, but in reality, I mean, there's some good stuff like the European Studbook Foundation, and like there's the Turtle Alliance in the US where they like place turtles in households and they do it as like a whole big thing. But that is just like
See that, Ken?
a splash in the ocean of
Yeah.
So I think the only thing we have to justify is welfare, in my opinion. That's why I'm so hard on welfare, because I just feel like it's the last thing that you have to justify.
Yeah.
Or focus on, because that's all we've got.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is you could, you know, a lot of people say it's like the setups are expensive and blah, 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 and things like that. But at the same time, if you've spent $2,000 on a few snakes, you could have spent that $2,000 on a snake and an incredible setup. And that's going to do a lot more for both you and the animal, for sure. Like it's not even just for the animal, it's for you as well. You can enjoy them more, you know. We'll watch the rest later on. Legend, appreciate you. But yeah, so that's the other thing. When people start bringing money into it, that's, you know.
Yeah.
Another follow on. I'm assuming this is people in the reptile hobby. Why is everyone so angry? Can you mix up passion and anger? Are they one and the same? Are they different entities?
I think the reason people argue so much is because they're so passionate. If you didn't have passion, there would be no will to argue. I also think that there is a big amount of us that have a sense of identity as like an animal expert. Like we're outside of this if you want to call it a community, outside of that, when you're in school and that, and you're the one person that's hardcore into animals, and you know all the names, and you can point out where everything is, and everyone's just like a normal person that like cats and dogs, but for the most part don't give a shit about snakes and things like that. You're like, oh, that's the kid that's the expert, and that carries on into college and whatnot and things like that. And suddenly you get into a community like this where everyone's got that same mindset, and then you're like battling it out to be like, who's that one expert of experts in that class, you know? And I think there's a lot of that, of the ego and like self-image comes into play as that as well, as long as like the passion as well. But
yeah, I was about to say, do you reckon ego is involved then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame because like we could all learn a lot from each other. That's why I don't give it the big one and try acting like I know everything. And I'll listen to the likes of yourself. I'll listen to Paul. I'll listen to people that I know are more experienced and knowledgeable than me. But if I was to go around being like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that because you've said this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, you can have your different opinions, but at the same time, we could learn from each other. You know what I mean? Like there's probably not a lot you could learn from me in regards to the reptile hobby, but
I'm sure there's lots you could teach me about like roughneck behavior. I wouldn't have a Scooby.
Yeah, I guess so. Again, that's me with my lack of confidence in myself, though. I guess that's where that comes down to, the self-deprecating, non-confident side. But breeding hybrids,
I think the best way to be is not hype yourself up, but not put yourself down, and just be neutral. Like it is.
Let the results speak for themselves as well.
It just is what it is.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
When I first started, I was like, there was a little part of me that was like, oh, like if people like see that like, oh, that's wrong or something. I was like, oh. And nowadays, if I say what, like, let's say if I say 2 + 2 is 5, and then someone was like, no, it's not, it's 4. I'm just like, okay, cross out and just put 4. like I've just realized I just don't care.
Yeah. 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 But then you'll get those that will fight tooth and nail, regardless of what they're shown and what they're told and what they're taught and told to go and see, they just will ignore that and be like, nope, I'm right.
That's kind of why I pivoted to making videos for search, because people are looking for answers.
Yeah.
And I also talk about things like raw pythons in UV or king snakes in UV as normally as I would talk about raw pythons in a hide or king snakes in a hide, because I realized I was doing it wrong by saying like, this is a controversial subject, but here's my opinion on it, rather than just saying like, give them UV, give them a heat bulb, give them a thermal gradient, like just normalize it, and then the people will be like, okay, they give their snakes that. Then if like they'll keep, and I'll see their raw python bask or the king snake bask, and then like when they come across these people that are like they're scared of lights, they'll be like, no, they're not.
Yeah, mine
like,
basks all the time. Yeah,
just make it normal, because it is normal. Why are we making something normal abnormal or even controversial? Because it's not. The thing of like saying they're stressed of lights is the controversial thing, because it's illogical and untrue. So I don't know.
You're putting that label on the wrong part of it, like you say.
Yeah,
as
that's
opposed
what
to
I mean. So you just make the videos that are for search, and when you make videos for search, I'm not making videos that are like trying to like be about something or combat something. It's like, if it's in search, you don't like it, you don't use it. Someone else who finds it that's searching for something will use that information.
Yeah,
and that's all you can do really, because otherwise you just get really upset and frustrated and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. What's this one? Spray toad went extinct after people built a hydropower dam right before a waterfall. Around the basin, there was their only habitat, so they almost all died. People bred and released them. I'm assuming he means
who's people.
Yeah.
Is that just random pet keepers around the area, or is that like an actual
conservationists?
Like, systematic effort, like.
I'm assuming there's more coming, but whilst we wait for that, we did have a question. Well, 2 questions, but they're the same. I'm going to try and pronounce the Latin, the scientific name.
Go on in.
Can you both please get into Heterodon nassicus?
Hognose.
Yes, that's the one. So can we do that? Shout out, show me kitties.
I mean, they're cool.
Yeah.
They've never been one of my, I must have. I mean, I'll never say never, but it'd be more a case of like, if one got dumped on me, then I would keep it, rather than like, I want to go out and buy one. I mean, feel free to send. I would say feel free to send me one, but I live in a different country. But
yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem, because when we first started speaking, I was like, I'd love to have one, and then we got speaking, and we're in different countries, so I was like, shit, I won't be able to get one from you then, unfortunately. I think the shipping and things like that alone would be more expensive than the snake. So
I mean, I'd want to give it like a big viv as well, and
so we I say we because obviously Riddler Reptiles is myself and my brother-in-law. Obviously, we live in different houses, blah blah. He has recently got a hognose, which we've not shown much about yet because she's still small. And also, to be fair, we're going to be setting up her proper viv soon. So there is a video coming on that, hopefully. But when we went to IHS, he sort of had it in his head that he might do anyway. He said, I might be going home with an animal. It'll either be a Chihuahua or a hognose. I was like, all right, sweet. So we're walking around.
Did you split revenue as well then?
There is no revenue, to be fair.
I mean, is that your intention, is what I mean?
We haven't really spoken about it.
Nah, fuck him. It's mine.
Yeah, I'm the one here. Fuck him. I think potentially, but I mean, in the minute, because he's been breeding gargoyles, whatever gargoyles he sells, he gets that money. So even though it's sold under Riddler Reptiles, they're his animals. We sell them, he gets the money. Jobs are good. And it's the same like when I did do that one and only clutch of royals or the adults that I've been selling. I've kept all the money for that. When it comes to YouTube and things like that, potentially, I'm not sure. It depends how much, because obviously at the end of the day, let's not beat around the bush. I do 95+% of the social media stuff. So we're probably not going to go 50-50 on the revenue. If it gets to the point where we're earning enough that we can both do it full time, then yeah, fine. Obviously, at the minute, he keeps the sale from his animals, I keep mine, and then I'll probably just do, the thing is, like, because his wife has done the designs for our merch. So when we do start making money off of merch, because at the minute I'm basically selling it for the price that we're paying, because I don't really want to take the piss. When we start doing that potentially, then yeah, they'll get a cut because they've designed it. I'm the one promoting and selling it, but I didn't design it. So yeah, potentially. He's been in a couple of videos with me. We've done that 1v1 challenge of setting up like the little gargoyle baby enclosures. So he doesn't do nothing, but obviously I'm basically the face of Riddler Reptiles as it stands. But to be fair to him, we work different shift patterns. It's difficult for us to do things like that together. But in the future, hopefully we will. But yeah, one of the videos coming soon is going to be me going to his house to help him set up the baby hognose enclosure.
Nice.
I want one myself as well at some point. It won't be anytime soon. But to answer your question, I will at some point be getting a hognose without a doubt. It might not be anytime soon, like I say, but I love the hognoses. I think they're cool. And it's one of the ones that my missus really likes as well. So that helps. Sorry, 2 seconds. It was a bit of a rant, that one, but yeah. But yes, so that hopefully should be coming in the future. Oh, actually, let's have a look at this one. So actual conservation party.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
They had people bore holes so that there would be spray again from the water pressure. But since the water is standing still up there, it had a different mineral balance, so the toads didn't take to it.
Oh.
Interesting.
That's cool, though. Is it?
Yeah. In a world where you could only keep one animal, not species, just one single animal, what and why? That's a tough one.
What, reptile or just any animal?
Animal, with like one animal. You're only allowed one animal to ever keep ever again. I hate this question.
My beardy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The problem for me, I absolutely adore my dog. I adore her.
If I had a dog, it would obviously be Doug, but I don't.
Yeah. So I think it would have to be her. But then obviously being a reptile channel, I'm like, should I say Ragnar? Should I say a reptile? But I think as much as I adore my reptiles, I think it would have to be Aya. It would have to be my dog. It's tough, but I just yeah, she's incredible. She's such a sweetheart. So unsurprisingly, Show Me Kitties has said I'd keep cats. I'll be honest, that's not the most. Cats. I love cats as well. I don't really love mine that I've got there, but then my missus, they're all right. But I'm not really a massive fan. I'd rather keep my my dog. Is science always the answer?
Yes, of course it is. That's from Paul.
It is, yeah. We did discuss this. I'm obviously not going to tell him or say exactly what he said because I can't really remember. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but essentially what he was saying is no, it's not always the answer. It's a good guide, but it's not always the answer.
Interesting.
Like obviously we won't get into it because he's not here to basically say what his thoughts were, and I'm not going to speak for him, but yeah, we did have a conversation about it, and that is one that he wanted to ask you, and your answer is obviously yes.
Well, science is just the method of learning, of finding the answer at that current point in time. So, and it's systematic and repeatable. Like, yeah, you can do things on intuition, but with science, it's rigorous, and other people can like repeat it. Yeah, you can say, "Oh, I can copy how someone did this and that," but science is science. No one built rockets based on intuition. No one built UV lamps based on intuition. No one. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just science is science. The world is built on science.
See, one of my favorite ever quotes, I think, was a Ricky Gervais one. I know this. We're not going to get into religion.
Is
but
it
it's
a
just an
textbook
example.
quote?
Yeah, it's if you were to
I love
burn
that.
all religious scriptures and all scientific textbooks, in 1,000 years' time, the science books would be back the same, but the religious ones wouldn't. And it's absolutely spot on.
Yep.
But we won't get into religion, everyone, so don't worry. Would deep layered substrate create anoxic and anaerobic zones like in aquariums to handle ammonia from the leftovers we miss while spot cleaning?
Well, I mean, it doesn't become anaerobic because you've got that drainage layer which creates air pockets and stuff. But obviously, if you've got a deep layer, I'm assuming you've got fossorial species. If you've got a deep layer, and they should be churning the soil. If you've got earthworms, and if you've got other things that are also churning and turning the soil as well. No, I don't think so.
Would you recommend earthworms for enclosures?
Depends.
Okay.
Like if it's the beardy viv, and probably not.
Yeah.
For a tropical enclosure, and you got a deep enough substrate, yeah, why not? Because it would turn, and then obviously they would. I mean, why is it that everyone buys the Arcadia, like Earth mix, or what is it? Arid Earth, or what are the substrates called?
Earth Mix Pro, things like that. I think I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, it's worm castings.
Oh,
so
right.
if you put worms in your soil, they will naturally fertilize and that's a fancy way of saying they'll shit around the roots, but
which is fine.
They'll do their job. I mean, it's just cool to see a worm, isn't it, against the glass on the ground.
So I mean, to be fair, because like I say, my tokay enclosure, she's got about a foot of substrate at the bottom of that enclosure, and it's obviously quite humid in there. Would they go in there?
Yeah, you can just buy a tub of worms from the reptile shop.
Is it okay?
Yeah, because people just feed them axolotls, isn't they?
Oh, yeah,
you get the giant lobworms. Have you seen them? They're like that, but then they're that. And they're cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I might have to look into that. To be fair, interesting. Oh, we've had that one. Oh, to be fair, that's it. We've got to the end of the questions that were sent. All right. Has anyone got any more questions whilst we're here live? I mean, we've been going for nearly 2 hours, to be fair. But has anyone, whilst we're here, have you got any questions? I mean, Liam, have you got any questions? I mean, you did ask, why is Liam so good looking? But we glanced over that
one. I don't know. So everyone else give some questions. I'm going to think of a question for myself because I want to think of a decent one.
Come on, chat. Let's come through. Oh, there we go. There's a good one. How's the ball python deep dive project going?
So we've only just gotten ethical approval from the university to do the SPI study, and then this month I'm going up to do some stuff with a vet in relation to my ball python for some filming of some bits and bobs, and then there's some emails going back and forth for some other things. But there are some maybes that I want to do, so I won't say because in case it falls through. And I'm also talking to people about like finding people to communicate with in Ghana and things. So everything's going forward, but it's far slower than I thought it was going to be. But also, I did have a sponsor drop out, so I was promised $5,000 from like a company, and then it was like, cool, done. And then I stopped asking for money because I was like, okay, I've got the money now. And then I didn't hear back from a month, and I was like, I emailed them. I was like, so what's going on? They're like, oh yeah, we're not doing that now. I'm like,
oh, charming.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Cheers.
So I'm having to just save up a little bit of money for myself as well, just to make sure. Because I don't want to go to Ghana on a shoestring budget, and then like you have to bribe someone with money or something just for safety reasons or something like that. So I'm just gonna it needs a little bit longer to cook, but it's going well so far.
Yeah, fair enough. Ideal. You think a dark part of the enclosure could make nocturnal species more likely to be out during the day?
No,
So I guess like light gradients. Then is that what we're saying?
I think that the only time way you'll make them to be more likely to be out during the day is if you've got the lights on at night and then the vivarium's lights off at night and you're in a very dimly lit room that you can barely just about so you can see. That's what
Mm.
nocturnal houses do. They have all the lights, bright lights, daylight, like LEDs and stuff, come on at night, and then it's just where they flip it so that they're still healthy. Like a nocturnal animal that is just sat in the dark is like one of us living in a room with like where lights never go off. So
To be fair, my Tokay, she was out, not out directly under the lights earlier on, but she was out sort of, I'd like to say semi-basking, to be fair, which was quite cool. I was just
yeah,
going
they
in
do.
just a little check of the animals, and yeah, she wasn't in the direct light and heat, but yeah, she was out, which I thought was quite cool.
In the same way that like some of us can be night owls. Like it's
Yeah.
not like as like black and white as that.
Mm.
You'll see like tokays bask out on the side of buildings during the wild. You'll
Mhm.
see like leopard geckos will bask during the day. Where leopard geckos are more cathemeral, where they like do whatever they want basically. And there's
Yeah.
loads of nocturnal species that will do whatever they want. All you got to do is provide them their day-night cycle, and they will act however they want, no matter
Yeah.
whether it's diurnal, crepuscular, nocturnal, whatever. All you got to
Mm.
do is give them day and then night, and they'll just do what
Yeah.
they're going to do.
Yeah. Would royals be bred if money was not involved?
I mean, yeah, because I would. I would like to.
But not to the extent.
Yeah, because I would like to. Maybe I wouldn't actually, because I would like to experience. So, royal pythons basically have either a proactive coping style of stress or a withdrawn coping style coping style of stress. Got there in the end. So, some of them just shut down, or they just curl up. There's a lot of snakes in Iraq that just kind of just no.
Mm.
Whereas some of them that are really proactive are just trying to push, and they're practically trying to do something to get out of that situation. The royal I got when I worked at a shop, she was just trying for like a year straight every day because it was right next to the till. So I'd see the snake every day doing it, and I was like, that's a proactive coping style of stress, which means that she's going to be a really fun royal to have in an appropriate environment because she's going to be like out and about doing bits and bobs
Mhm.
and not just like withdrawn.
Mhm.
And obviously that's genetic. Otherwise, why would one species be really bulked and one be really withdrawn?
Mm.
So there's outliers within a certain species. Like as an overarching theme, royal pythons are withdrawn. But there are individuals that can be really proactive. In the same way that an afrock is really proactive, it'll outright try to bite you and strike at you to get you to go away rather than just like curl up and withdraw. So it's all genetic about like all of that. So I would like to have lineage of animals from this snake because she's got such a great personality for myself.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like that would be a great one for others to have for a good pet, not just one that's really withdrawn as a.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know because people don't value them. But if they were just normalized and just bred as a pet, and it wasn't this whole thing that made them worthless and this whole crashed market and things like that, I think there's plenty of people that would just breed them as pets because they would just like the species. And
Yeah.
I think what you'll find is once the bubble bursts and everything levels out and goes back to normal, the people that truly love the species will still be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. This one I'll have no idea, to be honest. Do you need to dust live prey with calcium powder for ball pythons? Should you use them at all?
No.
No.
If it's as a whole animal, they will have unless it's like a rat with like severe like rickets or metabolic bone disease.
Yeah.
The calcium to phosphorus ratio, and because it's got a fully ossified skeleton, is going to be greater than like 1-to-1 or even 2-to-1. So, and if it's live, it should be eating well and like growing well. It depends on the quality of the prey, but if it's dust and bones and it's a knackered like prey item that's got like no calcium in it, then that's just about the quality of the prey item, not necessarily about. So for the most part, no. But then if you're having to feel the need to do that because you're worried about like where it's got enough calcium in the skeleton, then I would change supplier anyway. That's the other thing. I feel really uncomfortable with like just feeding rodents in general nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think I missed the question. I think I missed the question quite a bit earlier on, but I think Michael asked, "What's your like varied diet for your ball python?"
Oh, varied diet. So, as she said, hamsters, mice, rats, gerbils, multis, quail, adult quail, Dale chicks. For the most part, that's it. Because they've only ever been found to eat other birds or mammals. So there's only so many birds and mammals we have available to us.
Yeah.
I would try like neonatal like rabbits or something in the future, but I haven't yet. But
yeah.
I mean, they're eating like bush babies and stuff in the wild. It's mad. So
yeah. Earth mix arid. There you go.
that's
what
the
Amy was saying,
one. Yeah, just worm castings in there. Quite a fair.
Any changes coming with Ragnar or her enclosure in the near future? So
Yeah,
I actually
dollhouse.
just yeah, she's going to get a Barbie house. So to be fair, even just today, my missus was out doing some gardening. Not a euphemism. And she sorry.
And I had to turn away, or I was going to spit this all over my keyboard. You nearly broke all my things.
Sorry, Geese. I hope your camera still isn't in front of you. Yeah, so she was out, and she's only going to make it worse. She trimmed the bush outside, and instead of putting it in the green bin, I just brought it in and whacked it in Ragnar's enclosure. So that's not going to live, but at the same time, it's just a new thing for her to sniff and climb around in and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an enrichment thing. Are there changes coming? Potentially. I might have secured a bigger room to be my sole reptile room, which means she'd get an upgrade of an enclosure.
I mean, the one thing we can always improve is lights.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the lighting in here is upgraded so much from when I first got her. Like when I first got her, she had two MVBs. That was it. Whereas now it's halogen LED UVB, like linear UVB. So it's so much, and it's just lit up. Like it's just a beautifully bright enclosure. And she just looks glorious in there as well. So changes coming potentially. Changes with Ragnar, probably not. I am still working on socializing with her. Obviously, when Paul came to visit, we did do a little bit of one-on-one sort of training, I guess you could call it, and he did show me that the potential is there with that. Like, I don't care if she wants to be social or not, but it just would be quite cool, and it's more enrichment anyway. If she hated it, I wouldn't bother. But she's actually really quite chill to come out and sort of do these things, so that's all right. And obviously, it means food for her as well, so she doesn't mind that. But yeah, quite possibly, I am hoping to do more with her soon, maybe some more videos as well. But just in general, she's staying as is for now. Or she just gets like enrichment and new things every now and again, just to basically sniff and play around with and eat and things like that. So yeah, all good. Thank you.
Nice.
A pet shop owner that I know wanted to sponsor the project, but only if he could put it in his taxes. Bit unreasonable if you ask me.
I mean, I'm naive to the world in terms of like things like that, so I don't know.
Fair enough. Do vertical heat gradients make more sense than horizontal heat gradients? Depends on the animal.
Thing as a heat gradient.
Hey?
You've either got lights or you've got shade. But the air temperature is the same. In terms of this question, actually, vertical heat gradient makes more sense than horizontal, because actually there will be a gradient of like warm air at the top to cooler at the bottom. The air temperature from the shaded area on a horizontal vivarium. Say you've got a 4 foot, right? I've got a bearded dragon, and I've got lights here, and then I've got no lights here. The air temperature is the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about whether you're under radiation or not. So unless it's like a heat mat and not lights and stuff, and it's just a heat mat and just floor temperature, then there's a thermal gradient. But in terms of like lights and an air temperature, literally it's the same air temperature the entire way through the viv. It doesn't exist.
Fair enough. My prey quality is fire. All right, it should be all right then. This was with regards to me socializing Ragnar, social as in eating Paul's sleeve. Yeah, that was funny, to be honest. He got a bit confident. I could see
I've not
why,
watched
because
it yet. I'll have to watch it.
it's literally, that one's just a short at the moment. It was just a reel on my Instagram. It's quite a funny one. You'll like that. But
Did you do training?
Oh, I will be now. Like, when I first got her, I was doing target training for food. But the thing is, it got to the point that I don't know if she's actually understanding whether I mean food or the blue ball means food. So unfortunately, I just ended up just feeding her. But we tested something when he came down. He said, get the blue ball and see if she reacts to it. Even though she's been out and about and she's had a couple of things to eat, see how she reacts to the ball. She saw the ball and she went skits. She recognized that ball meant food. So I think, yeah, so basically he said every time you feed her now, show the blue ball first. And then that way, that's the only thing that means food. Because at the minute, if I open the door, she comes charging out because she thinks she's about to get fed. So it's just about...
Yeah, and you're also going to be having to open the door at times where it's not present as well.
Yeah. There are times, to be fair, like it doesn't luckily it doesn't happen all the time. Because there are times that I'll open it just because I need to get a water bowl or something like that, or I need to do a bit of poo picking. Well, luckily she usually shits in her water bowl, so it's not too bad. But she is quite chilled most of the time, like in a good way. Like she will look over and see if there's food. Like she is, you can see the cogs ticking, like the tongue's flicking. She's looking. I just look over and I go, no, don't. So she can be all right, but there are times that the door opens and she's out because she thinks she's getting fed. So I think I'm going to have to stick to the blue ball.
What bridge do you use?
What do you mean?
Like training, the bridge. Okay. So like the thing that you do to signify that what she has done has ended and it's complete, but then to signify that the reinforcer is coming. So when what is it you're trying to reinforce at the moment? Her like touching the blue ball, or just looking towards it?
No, she pretty much like attacks the blue ball.
Oh, you don't want that either.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, let's say this is the blue ball. Actually, so I have the target there, and then let's say like she comes over and it's like, rah, rah, rah. I would not reinforce. I would hold it, and then once she stops and she goes and looks at it, and it's just like, why didn't that work? Then when she stops and looks at it, then I would do the bridge. What's your bridge? Like, do you have like a clicker or a whistle, or would you say good? What?
Not really.
You don't really do it with snakes, but with lizards you can, because they can obviously hear. So normally I would use like a clicker. Same with dog training, and then I would like signify that's what I wanted, and then I would reinforce.
Okay.
And then over time they learn that the clicker means that they've done what you've asked them to, because otherwise they can get frustrated with not knowing what they did. So you have to, like, I think it's like within 3 seconds, otherwise they don't actually know what part of the behavior they did that you are actually asking them for.
Right. Okay.
So you got to be really on it.
Yeah.
But I would work on just delaying and making them stop and pause before I reinforce, because otherwise you're reinforcing them acting erratic in a behavior. That's how you get bit, because if you're not realizing you're encouraging behavior that is like erratic and like biting everywhere, I would be trying to. Well, I mean, training. There's no such thing as a bad behavior. The only behaviors is like whether it's something that you want or not, because there is no bad behavior to Ragnar. It's to you. So if you don't want him like scrambling and like biting at your legs or like biting at your toes or anything, then you want to be reinforcing like almost like a delayed gratification of like waiting for a reinforcer and then taking the food. So you can work on approximations and making it very, very calmer.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, let's bear that in mind. Cheers. Riddler, do you use Sensi grow lights? Those have really changed my view on dark 4000 lux terrariums. I don't, to be honest. I don't actually really use branded LEDs at the moment.
It's a cheap Amazon brand.
Yes. Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I don't really know what.
They're like 30 quid of Amazon. They're like little, like you can get LED spotlights, or you can get this massive LED panel, right? where it's got this like big bar, and in the bar that screws into the walls, and then you can like twist the whole thing. So what you can do is
Interesting.
have it screwed into the wall at the very like top, and then the whole bar can be flush with the ceiling, and it's like this big like thing like that. Oh, that's bright. That's what's going to go into my 7-foots.
Oh, that's quite cool. All right, I might have to look into that because, like I say, at the minute these are just, what are they, 3-foots or 4-foots? I can't remember. I think they're 3-foots to be fair, and I've got 3 of them in there. So, yeah, they work. They do brighten it up. But I mean, to be fair, the only reason I haven't got anything too exciting is because there's no plants in there because she'd just destroy them anyway. So they're just literally just to brighten up her enclosures. That it's better for her as well.
You'd be
Yeah,
surprised how dim it still is, probably.
Yeah. Would a sump setup built into an enclosure prolong the life of a reptile's water supply?
You mean the quality of the water?
I'm assuming so.
Why not do both? Why not like do that for your pond so that it's like cycling like a fish tank or a pond, and then give them a water bowl as well, so they have the choice. But I mean, a sump, basically just filtering the water of any water source will obviously improve the water quality.
What do you do when your insectivorous critters seem to be sick of eating crickets and all kinds of worms, and they don't like different kinds of canned bugs either? What other options are there?
Where are you from? Are you America or UK? America,
Amy is Florida.
I know you've got like different like roaches and things like that, but it depends, because 9 times out of 10, when someone says that, their reptile's really fat. So, I see a lot of bearded dragons that are like that, but the bearded dragon's like freaking 500 grams, and it could do with not eating for 3 weeks. So, just try different things is the answer, or even just feed less so it's hungrier. If it's a bit chunk.
Yeah,
fair enough. Hard to answer without knowing the animal and then where you are. It's varied, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Gary is still here for it. What a legend. Love you, Gary. Well, that's all we've got for questions so far, unless anyone's got any more. Did you think of any, Liam, or are you happy?
I actually stopped thinking, but I started answering questions I forgot.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I have the Sansi 100-watt flood, the rectangle that Liam just mentioned, on my Savvy's basking zone, and 30,000 lux at 1 meter distance. When the halogens didn't come on once, she still basked there.
I would imagine when you put your hand under that, there's still kind of like tingles the skin as if it's warming slightly as well, I would imagine.
Yeah. I've had a big homemade canister filter in my Tegu enclosure for over a year and haven't changed water, just topped it off every once in a while, and it's clear as day, and I've tested it every month. Excellent.
That's cool.
Excellent. I'd love to do something like that for Ragnar, to be fair, like just a proper big pool, or like, a bigger water section for her to get in, and that's filtered and heated as well. I think that'd be cool.
Gary, are you still like netting out like floaters if they're like shit in there as well? Or?
Found the visible. Yeah, Brandon, that's spot on.
But also, like, UVA is one that no one's really got yet. Well, apart from Tom, but at the moment it's metal halides. If you want to get the UVA for the UVA aspect of it, or there's some new stuff coming that I can't talk about. But there's some cool stuff coming.
Excellent. Brad's Bioactive Builds, welcome. You are late, but thank you very much for joining. We're just wrapping up, but if you've got any questions for us, Brad, any questions at all, it is a live Q&A. You feel free to chuck them our way whilst we're probably just going to start wrapping up. But I appreciate you joining, mate. Thank you very much. I'll scoop the big uns out, but the filter does the job nicely. Excellent.
The big uns, yeah. I did think so, yeah. Take the most of the mass out.
Recent research discovered that visible light vaporizes water more quickly than heat.
That's cool.
That is cool.
When we say heat, are we talking like infrared A, or are we just talking about like just general, just warming something to a certain temperature?
Good question. Whilst we wait on any other possible questions, I've got one for you.
Go on.
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would like to think in 5 years' time, I have would I own a house or be renting? I would like to think that in 5 years' time, I am on at least £3,000 a month income, still doing this, but also being around at least over 100,000 subscribers, and just doing this, just continuously, just in service of the reptiles, really,
Excellent.
and have
It's
achieving
doable.
that freedom, really.
Which is you're getting there. You're
Yeah,
sort of
I
got
feel like I'm
quite a
further
bit
along.
more freedom than I do at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm back at work tomorrow.
yeah,
Sucks.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not in
I'm very happy
until
about
2
where I
o'clock.
am. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not in until 2 o'clock, but then I finish at 10 p.m. So
I'll get up then.
yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's good at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, this pertains to my savannah monitor, and she's not fat at all, and also my leopard geckos. I guess then, similar to what Liam just said, maybe just give them a couple more days in between feeds.
Yeah.
Possibly roaches, I guess. I don't really know what they've got available. So I know they can't have what's it? They don't have locust out there, do they?
I think it depends, because if you've got a quite like a skinny Leo, like a sort of like a grade 2, on like a body condition scale, then I wouldn't be saying like feed less. I'll be saying like try different feeders or things like that. But I can't answer, give you specifics and still remain responsible in my answer. So I don't know. Is the answer.
Look who's back. They do have locusts, just have to know a guy. Well, I don't know anyone. So if you know someone, Paul, you feel free to let Amy know how to get some locusts.
He knows a guy. His name is
He knows.
Chiotara.
Yeah. Brandon was saying, yeah, he was talking about IRA, if you
Oh,
can
that's
remember
cool.
what was
That's
being
cool.
said. Okay, yeah. Lots of love for King Brad. Was playing COD. Oh yeah, someone's just recently got a PS5.
Nice.
Paul, sup. But yeah, unless anyone, Paul, you've missed all the questions I asked that you sent in. But unless anyone
Science is
has,
king.
yeah, that was one of them. What was it? Is the science always correct? Was it or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Is science always the answer? Was the question. That's it. And then yeah, you delved into it, but the answer was yes. There you go. I'm keen to know the answer to that. To be fair, mate, I'm pretty sure I put in a marker for what time that was, so I'll let you know, and you can
He's
go
not
back
even
and
watched the
watch
whole
that
thing
bit.
back. Lazy.
In all fairness, I did miss his stream yesterday. I was in London with family, but I did miss his stream yesterday. Sorry, Paul. Maybe energy related. I don't know your setup. Maybe basket related. See, this is what I mean. It's lovely when people come together. I
Disagree.
I did that science is always the answer. Paul, you will see it back. All right, you'll see that part back. But what what I did say was that you would disagree, but I didn't speak for you and say what your answer was.
I think it also
it's not up to
depends as
me.
well, because like the whole thing of like sentience as well, like science hasn't all agreed. The scientific community hasn't all come to a collective like agreement that like everything is sentient. But to me, I also think that everything is sentient. Like, but also at the same time, the process of learning about things, like the scientific method, is just a means of learning about something. So yeah, I just repeat my answer from earlier, but yeah.
Like I say, I'll let you know what time it was, and I'll send it your way. My son's got an Xbox; he's been binging. I had to take it away so he would sleep. I think someone needs to do that to you as well, didn't they, Liam?
What, Xbox? I don't play games. I ain't got time for it. I'm too busy on that grind.
Oh, okay. I agree with that. There you go. Blimey, we've got an agreement. Look, Jesus Christ.
To be fair, we agree on a lot of things. To be fair, I don't even know what most of what we would disagree on is. Maybe I don't know.
Can't have locust in Florida, and live dubia roaches are illegal as well. Okay.
Yeah, but you can have like different, like something head roaches or orange head roaches. Or there are roaches you can have in Florida.
I love Paul and Riddler's relationship. It's like two old men that live together but secretly hate each other. I tell you what, you just wait until the collab video comes out, because in actual fact, I'm not sure Paul ever wants to see me in person ever again, which is quite funny, but it was a good laugh. We do agree on a lot, 95% for sure. Me and Liam agree on more than me and you do. Interesting.
Yeah, fuck you, Riddler.
Can't agree on everything. Discoid roaches aren't illegal in Florida.
There you go. There's some roaches
Excellent.
for you.
Kai will sort you out. And not cheap, mind. Fair enough. But anyway, unless anyone's got any more questions, we've been going for nearly 2.5 hours. So
that's a short amount of time for you and Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I tell you what, I'm pretty sure we had a True Tales go nearly 3 hours plus recently, which was quite.
Is that the one where you did the whole thing of like you photoshopped an animal together out of parts?
That's the one that took half an hour, and we've actually made stickers of that dodgy animal as well. And
yeah,
it's
I watched that whole
hilarious.
thing.
It was funny as fuck. It was really funny. But yeah, we've had some go. Yeah. Oh, there you go. For light work, he said. For him, it's 4 to 5 hours. Yeah, but I think if you were to speak to me for 4 or 5 hours, you'd probably end up fucking killing one of us anyway. So, which is fine. Honestly, wait until I edit and upload this collab video. It's fucking funny as fuck. We still need a shirt of that debacle. We've got stickers, Gary. We will still sort out some stickers for sure. 2.5 hours and no emotional talk. Keep going. We're missing that part.
What emotional talk? What? Go on, go on. Get me to rant. What were you on about?
I don't want to speak to you for that. I guess. I mean,
it all started when I was born.
Yeah, that's when it started going downhill. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so unless anyone has got any very last minute questions, we'll start wrapping up. But it's been a pleasure. So thank you, Liam.
Thank you much for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Nearly 2.5 hours of Q&As. Oh, here we go. That's the real questions. Let's get to the heart of it.
He wants to leave. Let him go.
No, I don't mind. Like I say, I'm not at work tomorrow until 2 o'clock. So
I mean, I'm fine. I'll just get up when I want. So
yeah, see, that fucking annoys me. That does. I mean, to be fair, even if I didn't work, I'd still have to be up to take my boy to nursery anyway. So that'd be a bastard. But then when I get in, I can just do shit all. But why Royals? You missed the part on that as well, to be fair, mate. We did discuss that we do just love the snakes themselves anyway. We do love the species.
Why Royals what? Like, what does that mean?
Just why in general, I guess.
Just why do they exist?
Yeah. Great stream. Thanks, guys. An absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining. Liam.
What?
I think that's because you said you can get up whenever you want.
Yeah, fair. I understand. So, yeah, I get it.
To be fair, I feel the same towards you as well.
Fuck you, Liam.
Great live, guys. It's been a blast. It's been a pleasure, Brandon. Thank you for getting involved. Thank you. No, Liam. Jesus, why are they so popular? Why do you like them?
Because they're cute, innit?
They are cute, innit?
That's the answer. Because they're cute, innit?
Also, don't care that much, just being annoying. Jonathan, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
He's probably here the whole time if you put later.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, thank you. I don't think I've slept in 20 years. Luckily, I have, but it's very rare. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate you. And also, Rick, send us a picture or something of that enclosure you were talking about. That'd be sick. I'd love to see that. Bound, thanks for the episode, guys. An absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining and getting involved. You're a legend. Cute in it. Science. Yeah.
Put it on a shirt.
But yeah, everyone, before you leave, please like the video, of course. Please give us a little comment if you can. Subscribe to both of us if you're not subscribed already. Really do appreciate all the support. I will do a last minute shout out to my patrons. Appreciate you all. I'm sure Liam appreciates his as well. But yeah, any and all support goes a long way. So thank you. Any likes, comments, shares, subscribes, all of the good stuff. Thank you very much. Liam, any final words?
Unsubscribe from Paul's monitors.
After that, but yeah, all right then, everyone. Take it easy. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you later, guys.